not because you're hiding anything, but also be able to present it the right way. You may say, this is what I am doing, but in the way that you say it will give a wrong perspective or framework, and because you have made that mistake, you are being assessed wrongly. And at the end of the day, you find out that you're giving out more, and it's straining your business because that's not what you should have done. Right? So this is why we are very concerned about empowering the church. We have over a normal sitting for a Sunday service is over 2,000 persons. And we thought that the church is a great place for us to start because we know we have people who are career people. You run those who run their businesses, those who work for people, those who are into different kinds of ventures and all. But trust me, 2026, everybody is going to be, almost everybody has a bank account now. And for you to have a bank account means you have a BVN or you have an NIN. And now there's the thing that is coming even for personal accounts. And all of these things, they have access to them. I want to let you know that as a business person, with your tax identification number, the government has access to your accounts. They see your revenue. They see all that you make. So you may think you are hiding. You are not hiding. So it's better that you have your books stating it right. You know, you have a structure that defines what your earnings reflect, so that when they come to do their audits, because they always come to do their audits, they will ask you for your statement of accounts, not because they don't already know what you are doing. They have these records, but they ask you for formality's sake. And then when you're able to present your books to align with what you earn and in the way that it should be done, you are safer because you are assessed in the right way, and then you pay your dues to the government. This meeting is not to encourage us not to do what we should do to the government. It's to position us well with an understanding of how to ensure that whatever we give to the government is what should be in line with what we earn. So we would have loved to have a full house, but we also respect the people who have already come, and we will still have this session, right? And having said that, I would like to invite Pastor Francis to do a background introduction of the session. Then we will invite our speaker for the day. Thank you very much again for coming in. Thank you.
Proverbs chapter 24, I'll read verses 5 and 6. A wise man is strong, yea, a man of knowledge increaseth strength. For by counsel thou shalt make thy war, and in the multitude of counselors there is safety. I'll read that again. A wise man is strong, yea, a man of knowledge increaseth strength. For by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war, and in multitude of counselors there is safety. The line that really gets my attention is, for by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war. For by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war. The line before that says, a man of knowledge increases strength. So, it's important to note that whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not, one of the battles that confronts us, every individual in this world, is financial warfare. Because everybody must be able to curate their own realities in such a way that they are able to determine their financial status. Otherwise, they will remain subjects, slaves, and subordinates to the people who have been able to do that. It's a harsh reality, but that is the truth of the matter. In this life, we are not designed as human beings to be, how do I explain this now? Okay, let me say what we are designed as. Let's leave what we are not designed as. All of us are designed to be servants. All of us, including the highest of us. All of us are designed to be slaves. Where then is the role of free will? Free will is now the opportunity that we have to determine to whom we shall be slaves, or to whom we shall serve. The ability to make that decision is your true freedom. Am I making sense? Am I making sense? Yeah, whether you like it or not, you will serve something. True freedom is the ability to choose who or what you will serve. And so as a result, many people serve money. That's why you will see that Jesus said you cannot serve money and serve God. And one of the ways that you deliver yourself from serving money is to understand how money works. And one core matter as to how money works is the matter of taxation. I'll say one more thing and then I'll bring up our speaker. You need to understand, those of you who still once in a while wish that one person will be removed from power so another person will come who will change all these things. I have bad news for you. It doesn't matter who enters. You see this tax matter, it's not going anywhere. It's only going to get more stringent. It's only going to get more rooted in the system. Wake up and smell the coffee. As a matter of fact, we are way behind in comparison with many other countries of the world. So proper taxation systems are yet to catch up with us. So better start getting ready. And to substantiate that further, you need to understand that the tax drive that you see in the country at the moment, whether they are getting it right or they are not getting it right, whether they are mean with it, whether they are ruthless with it or not, is not necessarily an initiative exclusively of Nigerian leaders. There are external institutions who don't like that you are not paying tax the way you should. I tell you the truth. And they are working hand in hand with your leaders and coordinating with them, providing them with the right strategies, structures, and systems to capture you in the tax net so that you can be paying tax. I tell you, this is what's going on. Do you understand what I am saying? Is this making sense? Is this making sense? They may not be taking into account right now the fact that you are not necessarily enjoying privileges of citizenship the way you should. They are more concerned about your responsibility to the government than the responsibility of the government to you. Again, it's one of those unfair balances of life, but you just have to deal with it on an individual level. So part of why our Father in the house has graciously allowed that we have these conversations in church is to prepare you to wage your warfare with counsel, to be that man of knowledge that increases what? Strength. To be grounded in these things, to cure you of, that heart palpitation that you get when you hear that petrol price has increased again. When you hear that Tinubu has signed another tax law, 15% increase in petroleum product import tax. When you hear those kinds of announcements, how your heart starts beating faster. You need to be delivered from that. Do you understand what I am saying? You're not talking to me. Oh. Is this making sense? Exactly. So you develop thick skin for these things. Having a resolve. You know how a young lady knows that as not easy as giving birth to a child is, she has to come to that point where she will give birth to a baby. It doesn't dissuade her from aspiring to be a mother. Yes or yes? Yes or yes? If you like, say, we have the highest mortality rates. There's no relationship between the aspiration of young ladies to become mothers and the mortality rate of Nigeria. No relationship. Even if we have the worst mortality rate, that's maternal mortality rate, say the greatest amount of women that die giving birth is in Nigeria, it doesn't affect they are still aspiring that they will get married just now and they will give birth. When they see lovely looking kids, they'll be like, oh. They are expressing that I like to have one of these. Do you see what I'm saying? So no matter what they are saying, no matter what else they add, whatever they do, right, you are dispassionately disengaged from that emotion that makes, yes, you can recognize that, oh no, I don't think this is okay. Maybe they would have done it that other way and all of that, but you have been removed from the mass, from the masses that begin to rake and jump all over the place like popcorn in hot spots, that this government is wicked. Are you following what I'm saying? When you are well informed, you are better positioned, and you can do better. When we know better, we do better. Can I get an amen? That said, I would like to receive our facilitator for today. Write down your questions as he's talking. When he's done, we'll set a chair here, and then we will take the questions, and then we will be better prepared for what's coming. Can I get an amen? Okay, so he is an executive assistant to the director of the Enugu State Internal Revenue Service, and also a corporate lawyer and a tax consultant. People of God, with a house on the rock ovation and a family welcome, please receive Barrister Arinze to come and deliver his presentation. A round of applause for him, please.
Good morning, children of God. I want to thank our daddy, who is in the house, somewhere in the house, for granting me a second opportunity to stand before you today and elaborate more on the new tax laws. And Pastor Francis and all the pastors present for facilitating this very presentation. Once more, my name is Barrister Arinze Nnamani. I am the technical advisor to the executive chairman, Enugu State Internal Revenue Service. I also hold the position of the pioneer head, Emerging Digital Economy, Enugu State Internal Revenue Service. And our topic today is taxes and revenues payable by Enugu State residents and businesses in 2026. What you should know. Are the slides up? Yes. So what are taxes? Tax is a compulsory levy or enforceable financial contribution imposed by government authority. It could be the federal government, it could be the state, it could be the local government. It is usually imposed on individuals, businesses, both corporate and non-corporate entities. And this is the house of God. One of the subjects the Word of God has talked about in very elaborate terms is taxes. But I'm not going to bore you with several quotations, including give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, which is the very popular one. But there is a quotation that sparks my curiosity whenever I see it in the Bible. Romans 13 verse 7. It says, pay to all what is owed them. Taxes to whom taxes are owed. Revenue to whom revenue are owed. Respect to whom respect is owed. Honor to whom honor is owed. And as we already know, it is the government that taxes and revenues are owed. Tithes are owed to churches. Offerings are owed to churches. Taxes are owed to government. Revenues are owed to government. Respect is owed to who respect is due. Honor to whom honor is due. And you will remember the book of Corinthians that says, wives, honor your husband. Husbands, love your wives. So there is always that reciprocity that the Bible keeps talking about. So, quickly, what are the fundamental principles of taxation? Generally, there are 7 fundamental principles of taxation, but I'm just going to mention 5. For a fee to be called tax, first and foremost, it must be backed by law. There has to be a law that says this is a tax, this is a revenue collectible by the government. There's usually a saying that there is no taxation without legislation. And that tax has to be mandatory. If it's optional, nobody will pay. So it has to be compulsory and mandatory. it has to be for the public, for public use, not for the pockets of whoever is in the government. No, it has to be for the public. It also has to be equitable and fair to those who are paying. So when taxes become onerous to pay, it becomes a problem, even for those who collect it. And it has to have a level of certainty with it. So you have to know that at this point in time, I am supposed to pay this. When I'm doing this business, I am supposed to pay this. It's not today you wake up, they tell you it is this. Tomorrow you wake up, they tell you another thing. No, taxes have to be certain. On the subject of the new tax laws, like I mentioned last Sunday, there are 4 new tax laws that were made by the House of Assembly. They originated from the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform, headed by TITHE Oyedele. They did their work for some months, or nearly a year or so, and then came up with recommendations. Say, no, we have to overhaul our entire tax system in Nigeria. That we have about 30 legislations, 30 laws on taxes alone. You can imagine it. Even me as a tax lawyer, I get confused some of the times. Because almost every year, they will pass what they call the Finance Act. We have the Finance Act of 2019 that will amend an existing tax law. We have the existing tax laws. We have the Finance Act of 2020. We have the one of 2022. So they keep bringing these things and confusing even the tax practitioners, let alone the masses. So this president, as hard as everything may be, or no matter how you look at him, had the initiative of saying, let's harmonize our taxes. Let's have fewer legislations that speak to all the taxes. So we have 4 right now. And in those 4, the 2 most relevant ones that contain the taxes and the procedures are 1, the Nigerian Tax Act. The Nigerian Tax Act tells us what taxes that the government or the various tax agencies can collect. It speaks to what? So it answers the question, what taxes are going to be collected? And in doing so, it's on its own repealed, that's abolished about 30 different tax laws. The next one that is very important is the Nigerian Tax Administration Act. It tells us how to collect those taxes mentioned in the previous one I mentioned now, the Nigerian Tax Act. So it speaks to the procedures. What are the procedures that the tax authority will follow? What are the procedures that the taxpayers will expect the tax authority to follow? What are the procedures that the taxpayer themselves should follow in complying with the taxes? So if you don't read any other tax law, start with that one. Then the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Act. This one repealed the Joint Tax Board. What we used to have is the Joint Tax Board, focusing solely on taxes. But this one now focuses more on all the revenues of the government. Taxes, non-taxes, immigration fee, custom duties, excise duties, and all lots of revenues that accrue to the government. Even the petroleum profits, they are all focusing on this. The Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Act. This act repealed the FIRS Act of 2007 and established another body that now inculcated all these other revenue bodies like the customs, the immigrations. They are now under one umbrella. Just like we will have in the UK. The UK has what they call His Majesty's Revenue and Customs. In South Africa, they have the South African Revenue Authority. Just one body. Even in Rwanda, just one body that collects taxes for them. But you know, due to our structure of having a federal system, Powers are decentralized between the federation, the federal government, the state government, and the local government. But right now, the new tax laws have given powers for collection of taxes only to the federal government, or what I would like to call the federation, and the state government. The course it wants to take is to take away local government from the collection of taxes. That's where they are geared towards. Even though those revenues and taxes that should normally belong to the local government will still come back to them. But it is the state revenue authority, the state internal revenue authority, that will collect for local government and remit back to them. Next slide. So, what are the taxes collectible by the federation? Now, I've established that we no longer, in 2026, we no longer have the FIRS. We now have what we call the Nigerian Revenue Service. So the Nigerian Revenue Service will collect taxes for the federation. What are the taxes they will collect? They will collect, one, companies' income tax. Companies' income tax is 30%. However, there are exemptions, as we are going to discuss later in the day. So if you're a small company, and a small company is defined as a company whose annual turnover is less than 100 million in a year, and whose fixed assets is less than 250 million. So if you're a small company, you will not pay this 30% company income tax. Are we together? All right. So another one is petroleum profit tax. So the way we make money from petroleum are in two ways. By three ways: issuing the oil mining leases, oil processing, petroleum mining leases, petroleum exploration licenses, and production licenses. We make money from it as Nigeria. We also make money from royalties from those people who have been given those licenses and leases. We also make money from taxing those companies that make profits from petroleum. These are three ways Nigeria makes money through petroleum. So value-added tax. Everyone here has paid value-added tax. Whether you like it or not, you are paying it. Even when you transfer money, you pay it. You go to a big shopping mall, you pay. Right? So it is 7.5%. There was no changes made to it. The only changes made as regards value-added tax does not really concern this forum. It's on the distribution, how the states and the federal government will share it, and how the states, where it is generated from, would get a share. So I will not belabor you with those. Development levy. Development levy used to be 1%, and then there are other levies like the Education Trust Fund, or what we call Education Levy, and the other pockets of levies that were combined to make it 4%. You'll recall that last week we mentioned development levy, and it was not clear whether individuals were supposed to pay development levy. But I want to give you that clarification now. It is only companies that will pay development levy under the new Tax Act. In fact, small companies that are exempt from paying company income tax of 30%, those who their turnover is below 100 million, will not also pay development levy of 4%. So they are exempt from it. They will not also pay VAT of 7.5%. So 3 exemptions if you have a small company. And we've said that it is not every business that is registered that falls under the category of small companies. You have to incorporate it as a limited liability company or a public limited liability company. Is that clear? All right. The next tax that is collected by the Federation is withholding taxes on companies and non-residents. You would watch the trend that All taxes collected by companies are collected at the federal level, not by the state. The only tax the state goes to companies, as limited liability companies, to collect is the payee. One, the payee of the staff, because that has to deal with individuals, or the direct tax or director's fee of the person who owns or people who own and control the company. Those are the only taxes the State Internal Revenue Service will go to a company that is limited to collect. Capital gains tax from companies. So, this same exemption for small companies that we've talked about, small companies will not also pay capital gains tax. Right? So, we've mentioned that small companies will be exempt from company income tax, value-added tax, development levy, and capital gains tax. 4. So there are much incentives for you to formalize your business by registering as a limited liability company. The last tax in this category that are being collected by the Federation is income tax of Nigerian foreign service officers. Those ambassadors, those who work in the consulates and foreign embassies in Nigeria, in other countries, those who collect their taxes will be the Nigerian Revenue Service. Military and police, well, they have exempted the military from payments of taxes. So police and other armed forces that are not military, like the civil defense, will pay to the Nigerian Revenue Service. Of course, non-resident individuals will also pay to them. Next slide, please. So what are the taxes collectible by the state government? Next slide, please, so that they can view. So the primary responsibility of State Internal Revenue Service is to administer and collect taxes from individuals and non-corporate entities. We made that point clear last Sunday that when you just register as a business name, as an entity, right, as an enterprise or venture, the one we register with like 25,000 or 20,000, if you have a friend who is a CAC agent, when you register that one, the law treats that business as you. You and that business are one and the same. You don't pay different taxes. So if you come to Enugu State Internal Revenue Service and tell us that you want to travel abroad and that you've presented to, let's say, the embassy or whatever place you're going in that other country, that you run a small business here, which is an enterprise, and that you want your tax clearance to show, or you want tax clearance for that business, we normally tell you that that tax clearance will be in your name, doing business as so and so ventures or so and so enterprises. So the law sees you and that business as one and the same. So the taxes collected by state governments include payee. Payee, the law says if you run a business and you have up to 5 staff, you should put them under the payee system. The payee system uses the tax table that we are going to do as we go. We are going to calculate taxes ourselves today so that you know how to calculate your taxes. You use that table and calculate the taxes of your employees and automatically remit to the State Internal Revenue Service where your business is situated. Right? So you don't pay your staff the full salary. You remit. But you remember, bear in mind, that the first 800,000 going forward into 2026 is exempt from that payee. So you first of all remove 80,000 for that month. That's if you pay higher than that, right? Because the law says those who pay minimum wage should not be taxed. And minimum wage in Nigeria is 70,000, right? In Enugu State is 80. So that's why I'm using 80,000. Because payees are remitted monthly. I would have otherwise said you remove 800,000. If you remove 800,000 from a monthly salary, that will not work. Since payees are paid monthly, the right deduction you are going to do in order to abide by the new tax laws is to remove the minimum wage from whatever salary you are going to pay your employee. Whatever remains, you tax it at 15%. Direct assessment tax. So for those who don't fall under the payee system, how do they remit their taxes? They say I run a small business. It's only me. I'm doing an assumption. It's only me that is running this business. I am not under the payee system. I don't have up to 5 employees. Does that mean I'm not going to pay my taxes to the state internal revenue service? No. The law says you pay under what they call direct assessment tax or direct tax. So this new law has given every individual here the power to do self-assessment. We are not going to go deep into it, but you can now calculate your taxes yourself using the criteria stipulated by the law, and on your own, pay it to State Internal Revenue Service. And when you are filing your annual returns, you say, look at what I earned, look at the expenses I made, look at the allowable deductions I made from it. Look, this is why I arrived at this tax, or this is why I'm not able to pay tax at all. So, as we are going to know as we go further, whether or not you are liable to pay tax, you must, as an individual, file your annual returns every year. Withholding tax. So withholding taxes on individuals. We mentioned withholding taxes on companies for the Nigerian Revenue Service. All withholding taxes from individuals, including withholding taxes on contracts, on commission, on dividends, on interest. There are a whole lot of withholding taxes. In fact, the new withholding tax regulation that we use was made in 2024. And this new tax act still adopted it. So the rules are quite recent. So some of the withholding taxes are 2%. It used to be 5%. The new administration of Tinubu, as much as you may not like him, reduced this to 2%. And even said, if a small business in a month does any supply or contract to any other person, right, automatically that person should withhold tax of 2% and remit to Internal Revenue Service. But it goes further to say, no, if this person is a small business and has not done a contract worth up to 2 million, don't withhold tax from him. So that is another tax incentive. So what people do, I'm giving you a spoil. Don't say I said this. What people do is, if your supply to a particular business is ranking up to 2 million in a month, you may just stay back, say, please, Oga, wait, let me supply you on the 1st of the other month, instead of supplying you on the 30th or 31st of this month, so that you will still come under that tax incentive and exemption of 2 million. It's part of tax planning anyway. It's not tax evasion. It's tax avoidance or tax planning. Capital gains tax on individuals and businesses. Currently, capital gains tax is 10%. But the new tax laws now say, no, we don't want to be doing that percentage anymore. It's a gain to a person, right? If it's a gain to the person, it's still part of his income. Let's calculate it as we calculate their income. So we now use the tax table to calculate the personal income tax or the capital gains tax of individuals and companies. So if you are a small company, for instance, and you have sold, let's say, your property or your machinery, and you've made gains. Making gains means, as at the time you bought it, it was, say, 1 million naira. But due to all the devaluation of the currency and inflation, you now sold it 5 years later and sold it at 5 million. you will remove the initial capital you bought it from. You made a gain of 4 million. If you acquired expenses in trying to sell that particular machinery, right, you also remove it. That gain right now, let's say the gain is now 3.5 million. That gain will be taxed at 10% presently. That's 350,000. But going forward into next year, if you're a small company, for instance, and the law says your turnover is 100 million, and you even sell part of your machinery or your land or property, and when you calculate everything, it's still under 100 million naira, you will not even pay that capital gains tax. That's what it means. So, stamp duties on individuals. There's a whole line of dutiable instruments, especially land documents. All land documents must be stamped. For it to even be admissible in court, if there is any dispute that arises out of a property you owe or you co-owe with someone, for it to be admissible in court, you must show that stamp duty has been paid on it. And everyone here has been paying stamp duty. That one we call electronic money transfer, EMT, that you see on your account is a stamp duty. Because the Stamp Duty Act we were operating before is more than 100 years. It was passed in 1923, colonial times. So that's what Nigeria was using until this new tax law, to show you how anachronistic some of our laws have become, so moribund and not in touch with reality, that these tax reforms had to be made, and made desperately. So land use charge is just for the state. It's the state that passed the law. These other ones I was mentioning before were laws made by the federal government for the states to collect. But land use charge is passed by the state, Enugu State House of Assembly. There's a recent amendment in 2025. The one we are using was land use charge of 2016. So what this law says is that if you own property in Enugu State, insofar as that property is not a church, is not a museum, is not a government establishment, and is not also the palace of an Igwe, those are the only exemptions. You have to pay land use charge. And land use charge is graduated according to the location of property, one, value of the property in that location, and then the size. So if you own a property in Transekulu, some places in Transekulu you'll be paying 75,000. In our layout, you'll be paying 95,000. Abani Road, one in 95,000. At our layout on Abani Road, 114,115 naira. In Ababa, you'll be paying 38,000. In Emene, you'll be paying around 25,000. In 9th Mile, you'll be paying, I think, 9,000. There are some villages that pay, excuse me, as low as 6,000.
Sorry, sir. Is this per plot or per building, even if the building is sitting on a 5 plots or 6 plot land?
It's per plot, right? So for businesses that we've seen that have more than one plot, thank you very much for that question, Pastor Francis. Don't fail to interject like that. That's the essence of the conversation. For businesses that are sitting on more than one plot, we calculate it based on how many plots that we can estimate. So it's the part of being fair in tax. The fairness of taxation is that if you are sitting on 14 plots of land, right, and your neighbor is sitting on one plot, you and your neighbor should not pay the same thing. That's fairness in taxation. Purchase tax. So purchase tax is paid by those in hospitality industry, like the hotels, guest house, restaurants, it's a 5% tax. Other people who are meant to pay purchase tax include shopping malls on certain items, not all their items. Then, electronic shops should also pay purchase tax, but we've not been aggressive in going forward to collect those taxes from them.
Sorry, sir.
Yes.
Per item?
Yes.
This 5% per item?
Yes.
So the implication is that since VAT goes to federal, on a VATable item, the individual purchasing the item is paying a 12.5%.
That is very correct.
And then the seller now divides the money, the one that goes to federal government, and then
that is very correct.
That goes to the state.
That's been implemented by many shopping malls.
Wow.
Yeah. So some of them, when you go look at your receipt, yes, you see purchase tax. Some would hide their own, depending on their business model.
All right.
Yes. So, informal sector taxes. This one makes the greatest noise, even though they generate not the highest revenue. So, you hear of the e-tickets. How many of us have heard of e-tickets? Raise your hand well. I know almost everyone has heard of e-tickets. If you own any small shop and you've not paid e-ticket, go and pay. They will come and seal it. When I say they will come, I will come and seal it. You will not see me. But my men and women will come and seal it. Yeah? And it's almost coming to the end of the year. When people usually ask me, I say, Brother Francis, this is why you're in taxes. I don't know that you could be this way. Are you Matthew or are you Zacchaeus? And I've usually answered, I'm not too tall. I think I'm Zacchaeus. I'm not Matthew. Because the Bible distinguished Matthew and Zacchaeus in many ways. One of the ways, I won't tell you the other way. I've told you one. I'll tell you one other. The other one, you got to research yourself. One of the ways both were distinguished is that Matthew is regarded as a tax collector. But Zacchaeus, when you read certain translations, is regarded as a chief tax collector. Chief. That's the difference. So, by God's grace, I'm one of the chief tax collectors. I'm not as dubious as Zacchaeus anyway. All right. So, the e-tickets in the informal sector. The e-ticket in the informal sector is the use of technology in collecting small levies and taxes that we are hitherto going into the pockets of non-state actors, union heads, associations, arboros, PGs, Igwes. Right? Those money, we are just entering their pockets. You will see they will be doing an election in Ogbete. You think they are doing one big local government election. People will carry guns. People will want to kill themselves. Why? Because of the revenue of government they collect and pocket. But when this administration came in, and we came into the administration from the private sector, we say, no, this is not the way it should go. This revenue these people are collecting actually belongs to the government. And they collect it and pocket it. Still, government gets the bad name. Let's go and collect it ourselves. And because we cannot use the same method they were using, they say if you do the same thing repeatedly and you expect a different result, you must be crazy or mad. So we say, let's use technology. Technology is an enabler. We put technology in place and say, we are going to eliminate paper tickets. Because then when you go to Ogbete or when you go through the roads, you see different tickets being issued to motorists, to market women. They'll give them this ticket. Another person will come. You've not bought my own ticket. You must buy, or if you don't buy, I'm going to take goods from your shop. And they were harassed and harassed and harassed. We say, no, one single ticket that is electronic. that can be verified anywhere. So now, if you have paid your e-ticket, you can dial *042 *8011 hash. You can even dial it now. It will show you some prompts that will lead you to either transport, collections. If it's collections, it will lead you to market or street shop, depending on the one you're looking for. So, at any point in time, and by any means, even Nokia phones, right, you can verify that someone has paid. There was no need for paper ticket. That was how we reduced drastically the non-state actors. We also call those union people and say, in this whole money you are collecting, how much is your union dues? They will say this today, they will say this tomorrow, until we agreed on their union dues and say, okay, fine, we will put it into that e-ticket. Don't collect it again. We will collect it and give it to you. So there's what we call T+1. The next day, as this money is collected, around 10-something p.m., the split is done. Automatically, their money goes into their pockets. The money of various MDAs are consolidated on the e-ticket like we discussed on Sunday, including the business premises, for market now, business premises, SWAMA, signage, storage by local governments, and then, of course, presumptive tax for Internal Revenue Service. All those taxes and levies that were consolidated splits automatically. We do not house the money with us. Everyone goes to everybody. Right? So, the thing it has done for the residents and businesses is that it has reduced footfalls. It has reduced confusion. It has created certainty that they know this is what they are going to pay. And it is 36,000 in a year. For those in the street shops, it's 30,000. The same things apart from SWAMA. And we explained why SWAMA is not there, because there are different sizes of shops in the streets. In the market, if you check all the blocks of shops, they are almost the same sizes. One person can take up two shops and break it into two. But normally, they are the same sizes almost everywhere in each of the lines in the market. But in the street shops, they are different. And due to that size, and also the kind of business done in the street shop are very different. SWAMA charges different rates. The basic rate being 1,000 every month, 12,000 in a year. It can go as much as up to 120,000, some even 300 and something thousand if they are warehouses or other kinds of businesses. For the road taxes are also consolidated and they are on e-tickets. What used to happen in the past is that, let's say a keke man picks you from Ababa and then crosses Ababa Junction and wants to enter Ogui Road. That's Ogui Junction, to come through fire service. There will be task force waiting for him to tell him you are entering Enugu North, and you've left Enugu East. Pay. That's what used to happen before we came in 2023. Then that keke, say you are coming to church, and that's where you live, or you want to see your parents. Once it reaches this side, right? Okay, yeah, it's still Enugu North. Let's say you finished church, and he was waiting for you. He picked something here, and now going towards Keta. Once you reach that Keta Junction, there are people stationed there that will collect another one from him. And
say he has entered Enugu South.
Yes, you've entered Enugu South now. Yes, you have. So you pay another one. But we said no. Why will our transporters be paying different fees in one day? So no. Pay once. We consolidated everything they should pay, and they pay once. For internal revenue, they pay 500. And the Ministry of Transport collects 550 rather. Ministry of Transport collects 200. But we have now even further recently consolidated that to be 750 and applied a discount. If you pay for 1 week straight instead of every day, we applied a discount of 10%. All right. Please, next slide. Another tax is income tax on rent. You know, there are 3 investment incomes people make. One is dividends made through your shares, right? When you have shares in a company, and after the annual general meeting, the company decides that they have made profits and declares dividends, and you get your dividends. The law says you pay 10%. 10% on those dividends as tax. So that's part of an investment income. There's also interest. So you have a fixed deposit account, for instance, or now recently very popular, mutual fund, and you earn interest. There's also a 10% tax on withholding tax on that interest. Only on your interest, so not on your capital. And the third investment income is rental income. And that's where we are focusing now. Rental income are only paid by people who are landlords. All of us, we want to be landlord. Me, I want to be landlord next year. Yeah? It's part of my prayers.
Amen.
On crossover night, I'm going to be praying. The other prayer, now me know I won't say it here, but God will answer it. So, if you're a landlord, when you earn income, normally there are no other ways of collecting your tax from you if we don't come to you. Let's say you work for the government, they've already collected your payee. Some will say, I have paid tax, so I paid tax where I'm working. Why are you coming again? Oga, madam, you are earning income from this place. You have to also pay tax on that income. Okay, we've talked about road taxes, including number plates, vehicle papers, vehicle inspection, and the rest. Who here knows that it is the Enugu State Internal Revenue Service that issues you vehicle papers? Even your driver's license, though you commence the registration with the road safety, because the revenue is shared 50-50 between internal revenue of the state, all internal revenues of the state, with the various road safety, because they have the structure, the unified structure to generate those driver's license. So when you want to pick your driver's license, it's in one of our offices that you're coming. But right now, we've done something very innovative in that respect. We started home delivery. So, yes.
No, guy, wait. So let me tell you now.
Home or office delivery. So we'll call you.
Calm down now.
All right.
I went to FIRS because I was waiting for you to land.
All right.
So I cannot enter this matter.
Okay.
2 years ago,
That's far.
I said, make I go do renewal of license. And I told them that when I registered for this license, people made a mistake in the spelling of my name. I waived it. I kept using it like that. But when opportunities to travel abroad started coming up, I now realized that if I have a mistake on my driver's license as opposed to what is on my international passport, I may have a problem. So I told them I want them to correct that error. They say I will pay for a mistake that they made. This is government and this is Nigeria, amen. You can argue to heaven and come back. That's the way they say, may you do, you go do it. I said I agree. I paid. And they said part of the implication is that I have to do capturing afresh. Yes. I told them, I said, you already have my details. They said, that's how it is. I agreed. I paid. When am I coming for capturing? They say 2 weeks. 2 weeks became 3 weeks. 3 weeks became 1 month. 1 month became 2 months. 2 months became 6 months. So what happened was they first started with stories of network, so stories of the systems were not, were being doing maintenance, to system crashed. As I'm talking to you, 2 years have come and gone. I have not obtained that license I'm talking about.
Did you let her do the capturing?
I said, now capturing, I ain't the homie now.
You never do.
I have not done it. So what happens is when you go to FIRS office, and I'm
not FIRS, is Federal Road Safety Corps.
I'm sorry,
yes,
Road Safety Office.
Yeah.
And I want to segue from that into something I want to, suggest to you from the Enugu State IRS. There's a crowd in that office that is a disgrace to the Road Safety Corps. Every day, if you go there today, unless that office is not open, you will see a crowd of human beings sitting there. The percentage of people who will succeed that day may not be up to 10. They will repeat that process the next day. I'll never forget a day I went there. And I asked the officer, because I saw he was grumbling. I knew something was wrong. Okay, how far now? Can we do this capturing? They said they can't do capturing. I said, but you people said that system is now working. He now made a statement. He said that there is a particular superior of theirs that is not on ground. I said, wait now. What's the relationship between one officer being on ground and system capturing people? He said that the man took the password away. Then I didn't get the password. He locked it, so they cannot access the system. So they were grumbling among themselves because they felt that the man did that thing because he doesn't want them to work, if you know what I mean. Because if they work in his absence, he will not partake in whatever money they made from extorting Nigerians in the name of capturing. I now wanted to ask, I got excited when you said the revenue is split. Is there no arrangement for Enugu State to have at least in the 3 local governments that make up the metropolis, capturing centers to where's the word they use now? To decongest that crowd in that place and set Nigerians free. Yes. So I later discovered that I was not alone. There were those who have paid for 3 years, 2 years.
That is very true.
So if this revenue is split, I think that Enugu State in its, what should I use now? In its forward-thinking technological approach, can jump into that issue, broker an arrangement with the federal road safety, and take up the burden of doing capturing. All they need is access to the federal road safety court system. They do the capturing; it reflects in their own back end, and then we can deliver people from this conundrum.
Well, I'll take that feedback back. I cannot deny anything you said here because I've had other people experience similar things, right? Even my own friend that I paid for license for. He has taken almost a year, capturing or no capturing. At some point, I became mad. I went to one of the offices and met the organ and said, no, now, this cannot be happening. Why? Why should this be happening? Say, sorry, oh, this happened, the other one happened, their system crashed, blah, blah. All manners of excuses keep coming out. There's a limit to how you can intervene in another person's office. However, we've also been working with their superiors to see how we can decongest that place and make it more efficient. The talks of building more capturing center has been in the works. In fact, there was a time we designated certain places in Enugu where we are going to look for accommodation and put in capturing centers. But that has not been concluded yet. We also resurrect that discussion with my office so that we see how we can facilitate that. But what we've done is this, because when they do all the capturing, produce the cards, they come to us and we distribute. But when we came in, and over 2 years, just recently that we started this innovative way of using dispatch riders. We contracted a courier service to use their dispatch riders to share it across Enugu, right? So they will call you on the phone and be like, we are calling you from so and so place, and we have your driver's license. It arrived. Usually it's the next of kin's number that will be there, but they have a way of also having the number of the card owner. So they will call you, the card owner. If they don't get you, they call your next of kin, and they will tell you, we want to deliver this card to you. I know our people now, fear there everywhere. Some people will be like, are they scammers or kidnappers? No, they are not. if they call you and tell you that they want to deliver your driver's license, please follow the instruction. Tell them where to come. You may not even go to them if you're afraid. Just tell them where to come and hide somewhere and check if it's someone that is delivering license or not. Thank you. So let's proceed. Okay, other revenues from local governments, though just for this year. There's capitation rate, liquor license, radio/TV license, stallage. Even though these things may still be there next year, but they will be collected by state's internal revenue service and not by local government. But those revenues will still go back to the local government. So,
sorry, can you bring some light on this radio and TV license?
Yes. Okay, the radio and TV license, if you look at that law is like as old as. You know, when you want to check the origin of a law, you don't check the amendment that comes with it. You check the number when that law was originally made.
Okay.
Right? It's so far back. So it used to be that if you go to the developed world, we took most of these things from the colonial times. If you go to the developed world, what you will see is that if you want to play music in your car or in a bar, you have to obtain a license to play those music. In fact, sometimes the licenses are restricted to a particular kind of music you can play. There are music you may not even play there. That radio license, Lagos collects it up till now. It's part of their revenue. So stallage is markets built by local governments like Obuete. Obuete is under the Enugu North. Kenyatta here is under Enugu South. There's a stallage fee they collect. Is a form of rent, so to say, right? It's a form of property rate they collect from those stores.
Okay, so sir, I have another input that I think you should take down. And why I am motivated to say this is, to take an example, the conversations around Christian genocide in Nigeria started last month. And immediately became very heated and intensified. And we've seen the massive shake-up that it caused and the digging up of details that followed it and all of that. And we all can testify that we are not exactly on the same spot that we were before that noise started as we are today as far as insecurity is concerned in the country. But as a media person, I was curious. I wanted to know, but how did this whole thing begin? So the story has it that President Donald Trump was on Air Force One on a trip. And then he decided to just watch news. And he was on Fox News and saw a documentary on Fox News on Christian genocide in Nigeria. That was how it started. So he started, so it came as a shock to him that, okay, I've always known about the madness in that part of the world, but I didn't know this particular angle.
In Nigeria.
Yes, immediately he called his men and started asking questions. They pulled up files, they showed him the trail of work that has been done in that, that they are not like us, those people have data. So the man went bananas and said, we have to do something about this, all right? And the rest, as they say, is history. Now, if you go back to Fox News, somebody said something to somebody who said something to somebody who finally decided we will put the money that is necessary to create this documentary. Are you following my line of thought? So yes, you're not the governor. You're not even, the minister of or commissioner for works or anything like that. But somebody has to say something to somebody, and he may just finally get into the corridors of power where action can be taken. Yes. That said, for the longest possible time, I have wondered endlessly, why is it that our local markets are always in shambles, even though these people pay daily tax? They don't have floors, they don't have proper drainage, they don't have toilet systems. So I began to wonder, now that we have a unified tax system, this is the best time, and I think it will give the governor a good name, that he is the man that finally decided. And I'm not talking about uprooting poor traders to build an ultra-modern market. No. Just that local market, that's where it is. give them 3 major important things: flooring, drainage, and functional toilet systems. Now, the toilet systems don't have to be managed by government. It's supposed to be a PPP arrangement. So the government will put up a bid and say, if you want to manage our toilets, submit your proposal. And these are the terms. So private business people who are into the sanitary business, put in their proposals. You're going to have XYZ number of staff on ground, and they're going to run on so-so shift. They shouldn't be paid lesser than so-so amount. For that, this is what we know this market is generating. And this is what you will be paid. I don't know if you understand that thing I'm talking about.
I get your point.
That way, so though we do not just have toilets,
yes,
we have toilets that are working, because some of these markets have some toilet like that. That's God help you if you use that kind of toilet. So that way we have standardized, something in our local market
to
justify the tax.
Let's not go too far with it. That discussion is also in the works, and I'm sure by next year something, it may not be toilet, but something else is being prepared for those in the markets, including soft loans or grants, right, for certain small businesses in the market. So they are in works. Another thing in works is health insurance. Just that, health insurance is expensive.
Yes.
To finance that aspect of the insurance that you are not paying for. Because if you're paying for insurance, there's somebody else who is also paying something that will make up that deficit that you're not paying for, right? Or someone else who has paid for it, who is anticipated will not use it, so that they will use that money to make up for your own, right? So if you have health insurance that takes you, that you can walk into Niger Foundation at leisure, it's one of the finest we have in town, and you're paying something less than 100,000 for it in a year, but you've received treatment 3 consecutive times of something more than 500,000 per se. There's somebody else who is financing that deficit. So that health insurance is in works, and it cannot be totally free, right? It's either, the option we are contemplating is either you increase the taxes they pay yearly by the amount of health insurance, which will be very low, so that the sick woman who trades in Mayor can walk into any hospital within that health insurance and get treated of any illness she has. That the sick man could go for operation, some surgeries, because he pays something like just 12,000, right, in a year. So that will go a long way. But if you touch anything, taxes, add anything to what is existing, people will start shouting without looking at the benefit they will derive from it.
Okay, so I have a question. Is it going to be is it going to be compulsory or voluntary? The health insurance?
My advice as the technical advisor is for it to be voluntary, to be very optional, right? Okay, let's go. We still have a long way on our slides. Slide number 8, please. Revenue from other state government MDAs. So we've discussed the new tax laws, the 4 of them. We've discussed the taxes to be collected by the Nigerian Revenue Service. We've also discussed the taxes to be collected by the State Internal Revenue Service. And right now, we are on the taxes to be collected by other government MDAs, other state government MDAs. Other revenues, I won't call them taxes. So, Eswama levy, everybody knows that one. Who pays? Everybody pays. You're a business, you pay. You have a shop, you pay. You're a resident, just in that your house, you are generating waste, you pay. And for residents, it's even very cheap to me, because this is a service-based agency. if you don't pack waste, if you don't see anywhere to dispose your waste for 1 month, it may kill you. They say lock yourself up with your waste that you've generated. It may kill you. And those things are very expensive to dispose. There are trucks that haul them. There are small keke buses. Our sanitation services have improved so much so that Enugu State won an award for it. You would know. Yes. By an award presented by the First Lady of Nigeria. Because when the MBA came into Enugu, one of the things lawyers, who I'm proud to be a member of that noble profession, one of the things they noticed was that Enugu is so neat compared to places like Lagos. In fact, compared to any city in Nigeria right now, Enugu is very neat. And I think we have to continue on that trajectory. Environmental pollution fees. Certain businesses that emit pollution, at the shopping mall there, they will come to them because there are certain pollutions they emit. Most of the hospitals, the same thing. They will not come to you because you're staying in your house. There's an assumption you will not pollute the environment. Business premises. Once you operate a business, there is a permit you need to operate that business. It's called business premises permit. It's being collected by the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Investment. Ground rent. This one has generated a lot of controversies. Because we've said that on a property, you pay land use charge. We've also said in a property, you pay income tax on rent. Now we are saying again, some properties, not all, will pay ground rent. This estate over there, Liberty Estate. If you have a property in Liberty Estate, you may be faced with 3 property taxes or property-related taxes to pay. Why are you paying ground rent? You're paying ground rent because that property, that land was developed by an agency of the government. It was not sold to you by just an individual. Even if an individual has sold to you, that individual originally bought from an agency of the government. In that, either the Enugu State Housing Development Corporation, or the Ministry of Lands, or the Ministry of Housing, or the Federal Ministry of Housing. So when they develop properties, they have what they call ground rent. They are still the landlord of that property. The Universal C of O, you would know well about it. The Universal C of O says it belongs to them originally. So in that C of O, even if you've been given your own personal C of O, you still see a line, say ground rent, pay 40 naira or 4,000 or 3,000 per square meter, right? You have to also comply to it. But in our harmonization of taxes, we are also working on reducing what those agencies charge as ground rent and see a way to consolidate both ground rent and land use charge for properties that are liable to pay both.
Okay, sorry, sir.
Yes.
We need some clarification on what properties pay ground rent and what properties don't pay ground rent.
I just said it now. All properties developed by state or federal government agencies.
Okay.
So if Enugu State Housing Development Corporation developed an estate, they have so many of them,
yes,
even those still selling right now.
Yes.
All the estates they've developed from when I was not born, they will still come to you to collect ground rent.
Okay. So
if Ministry of Lands or Ministry of Housing or even the Federal Ministry of Housing, I think Federal Ministry of Housing owns Republic Estates, they collect ground rent from it.
Okay.
Railway, because
Okay,
railway is a federal,
yes,
state collects ground rent.
Okay,
yes.
So there's a caveat now, or there's an issue.
Yes.
There are people who have built structures on lands that are not by any government agency, like you buy land from an estate, yes, or you buy land from a community, and then you build. That's the, what's it called now? The IRS tax force comes to collect ground rent.
IRS don't even collect ground rent. So your argument has failed on that
So
premise.
which people come to talk to those people?
Those agencies that developed those properties. The one I've mentioned, Housing Development Corporation.
No. Barrister, I'm calling your attention to something. You know our media.
Yes.
They call to our radio station, and they because we have a program, Southeast Star Reports, happens 8 o'clock every Monday to Friday. And there are people calling to report all manner of things happening in their environment. So some people will call and say that they got, people came into their premises and to harass them for ground rent. That they paid land use charge. They don't understand which one is this ground rent again. So the question now becomes, and that's now gives birth to a second
Those people
question.
are not coming from us. I assure you.
Yeah, so now the challenge is that the government cannot deny being aware that there are people who have developed an industry from illegal tax collection.
That is true.
If a government that is pro, tax, a government that is particular about implementing standardized taxation systems, cannot omit measures to eliminate the elements that decide to make a merchandise out of multiple and illegal taxation. Because it will be an indictment on the government that is driving the tax regime.
I agree with you perfectly, Pastor Francis. As much as Nigeria, let me use Nigeria as an example, has strong military, police force and the rest, even the United States, they've not been able to eliminate insecurity. If you watch what is happening in Chicago, the killings, you would start thinking, is this really the United States that polices the world, right? Every society has their peculiar problems. One of the problems we have is non-state actors in the revenue space. But I tell you for free, we have been very brutal with them. We've been aggressive, even in very recent time. One of the kingpins of non-state actors that are known for haulage, right? Produce. He slept, the governor himself, not just we, took him and kept him behind bars for more than a week. And when he came in, he was shaken to the marrows, right? Say even him, having worked with successive government, that so a government can dare put him behind bars. You get my point? Yes. So, but you see, even after doing this, they say old customs die hard. Right? It's not easy to change a leopard spot. That's if it's even possible. So, do you see them going back to their old ways or sending people to? Right? I think one of the ways to kill this, and we've started it already, one of the ways to kill it is to provide employment for some of these people. In our e-ticket system, we have over 1,500 people in that space alone. Check the mass employment that has given. That was part of the reasons why Enugu was successful in dousing the tension of sit at home. Because most of those people that will go and agitate, this is if you come out, we do this, we employ them. The only day they have to rest is Sunday and sometimes Monday. Sometimes they don't even rest. They'll come out on the road to say, stop, you've not paid for this, you've not paid for that. And they are gainfully employed. And for the past 1.5 years or 2 years, I've not heard anybody injured within Enugu Metropolis on a Monday. Right? So, to reform them, you provide alternatives for them. If you don't, they will still go back to their old ways.
Okay, so
yes.
I also think people should adopt the media strength to that. Okay. Because, for instance, you talked about this guy that was apprehended.
Yes.
We don't know about it. We would have loved to talk about it. Because
some
people need to know that the government is doing something in that regard. Do you get my point? And it should become a deterrent to other people who are moving in that direction. That I don't know if you understand me.
I get your point. One of them who was also disengaged a month or so ago, right? I think some of the media houses carried it, but it wasn't very rife. Let's get back to our presentation. So sorry for that digression. Let's present once and then everybody can now ask questions. So signage, if you have a sign an emblem on your shop, on your business, you are made to pay something to Enugu State structure for signage and advertisement agency. Gaming license, pool license, good course, etc. These ones are paid to Enugu State Gaming and Lotto Commission. So if you operate any of those Lotto businesses, you have a Bet Naija shop or you work in one, you will see people like that coming to ask you, have you paid for this, have you paid for that? Registration of survey plan. If you want to register your property, the survey plan itself, you go to Surveyor General's office. And I did not include here, but NGs. So if you want to register your property and obtain C of O, you go to NGs, right? It's one of the reforms the state is carrying out right now, so that every C of O will be digitized in that process. Tourism development levy, paid by those in the tourism industry, including hotels, cinemas, and the rest of them. Water rates to Enugu State Water Corporation. Quickly, the next slide. You know, the other time, next slide, please. Who's controlling my slides? No. Slide 9. Slide 9, please. So, yes, I wanted to show us a sample of consolidated demand notice in the formal sector. So if you have a business in the formal sector, and before now, different agencies of the state government will come to you to ask you to pay for this, pay for that, pay for this other one. Just imagine 9 on this list. There are some of them will have up to 11. Imagine when 9 different agencies are coming to your business. Your business will be disrupted. And if you're not versed in those things, you may be wondering, who are these people? Growing up, I used to wonder, that's what my auntie, that's what my shop I am, boss. I better, and one day also be an asana in the local government. And one day also be an asana in the business premises. I want to come here and there and in an idea what they can call her bell. But these are various fees, levies, and taxes that business is liable to pay under the law. None of them are not within the law. So, if you say, let's say this business is a hotel business, I blot out the name for data protection purposes. So this business is supposed to pay local government TV and radio license for a year. The amount is 15,000. They're also supposed to pay Ministry of Environment and Climate Change. The amount is 25,000. They are supposed to pay again Waste Management Authority, that's SWAMA. The amount there is 240,000 due to the kind of waste. Imagine 50 rooms being occupied every day, the kind of waste that will be generated there. So they are supposed to pay 240,000. Signage, they are supposed to pay 80,000. Internal Revenue Service, they are supposed to pay for land use, purchase tax. That purchase tax we mentioned of 5%, right? Because it is difficult to be saying, pay us 5%. We had an agreement with the Hotel Association owners and agreed on a discounted rate based on the capacity of each hotel and say this particular hotel should pay us 500,000. For tourism board, they are paying 40,000. For local government, again, capitation. Capitation is 1,000 per person that works in your organization. So that means if this is calculated properly, it means 14 persons work in this hotel. And that's why they are paying 14,000. I remember we've talked about land use charge. For that business, because it is a commercial, I did not mention them. There are rates for residential, commercial, and industrial. For commercial businesses in Ogui Road, the real amount is as high as 500 and something thousand. What you are seeing here is a discounted rate because we had an agreement, we had a compromise with them, and we are putting it in a consolidated demand notice. And finally, fire service. Fire service is 20,000 for a year there. So, as the owner of this hotel, right, or the manager of this hotel, you are beginning to plan your finances from the beginning of the year when you receive this. You now know when you want to pay for this or when you want to pay for that. For next year, even presently, you can decide to now pay for SWAMA. The SWAMA is disturbing you first. You pay for SWAMA first. You don't have money, any more money that month. The next month, you decide to pay Enugu State Internal Revenue Service and then pay off the remaining ones. That is also acceptable. So this consolidated demand notice speaks to clarity and certainty that we talked about in the principle of taxation. The next slide, please.
Okay, sorry, sir.
Yes.
This radio something, is it people by individuals or just establishments and car owners?
Establishments and car owners. But in Enugu, we don't even collect from car owners.
It's only from establishments?
Yes.
Okay, because the question will now be when people go to renew their vehicle particulars, they make payments for a number of things. How is this radio matter missing there? And why do they have to come and pay radio again later?
We don't even collect. You know, if we collect all the taxes in all our laws, everybody will run. So we select the ones we want to collect. That is it. All right, please, the next slide. Thank you. Yes. Innovations made by the Nigerian Tax Act. You recall that the theme of this program today is to know what the new tax laws are provided. We've had a rundown of some of it, combining it with the old and the new, those that will be relevant going into next year. So let's look at some of the innovations made by the Nigerian Tax Act. So Section 3 of Nigerian Tax Act imposes tax on profits or gains of any company or enterprise, individual or family, trustee or estate. We are clear on company, enterprise, individual. How does it impose taxes on family? You know, some people say that Igbo people are from the Jews. I may be part of the persons that don't totally agree with that historical inversion, but that's my personal opinion. I think our race is older than them. One thing the Jews are known for is running family business from generation to generation. You hear about the Rothschilds. You hear about the Sassons. I don't know, many people must have heard about the Rothschilds, but the Sassons were the kingpins and the main pushers of the opium trade in China and India in colonial times. They were the ones that did that business, made a fortune from there, cleaned up by diversifying into real estate, and built what you now know as Hong Kong. When they arrived there, the Hong Kongs were swamps. So, family business. So, if your family makes an income because you have a family business, right? Or you have a family land and you sell that land, the law says you are going to pay tax as a family. So we are clear on individual, we are clear on company and enterprise, family, trustee.
Question, sir.
Yes.
When families sell land, there's supposed to be capital gains.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Then that's different from this family tax in Nekumakiana.
Yes, now you earn income. You earn income from, capital gains constitute part of your income. That's why this new tax law, if you listened when I was explaining that, this new tax law has said capital gains should not be 10% again. It should be computed the same way your personal income is computed. So once you now pay that capital gains tax, You don't need to go and pay another income tax on it because it's still an income tax that you've paid.
Okay.
So right now, going into next year, there's no disparity between capital gains tax and income tax. They are calculated at the same rate. And once you pay, any other person coming to you on that same income is double taxing you, and you can object to it.
Okay, so it means that as family who sold land, after they pay their capital gains tax, they are also liable to pay family tax.
No, it's not family tax per se, it's income tax. So if you pay capital gains tax, you're not going to be paying
this family income tax.
So you see, this law says imposes tax on profits or gains. That gains there means capital gains. Okay. So once you pay tax based on your gains here, you need not pay any other income tax, but whatsoever name called on that same assets that you've disposed.
You have a question?
Yes, please. Allow him.
Because the direction Pastor Francis was going, I also have an insight, like something close. Let's say, okay, we have a family of 20, and then we sell a particular land. And of course, after paying this, we are going to share the money now amongst the 20 people. When we share this money separately, note that when you're trying to, when you're trying to open a corporate account, there's this thing they say, oh, there's a certain fee you're supposed to receive, blah, blah, blah. You're supposed to pay tax and all of that. Let's say the 20 people amongst the family share, per se, 100 million. Are they also still going to be taxed later on the 5 million they received?
No, we'll tax the gross.
Okay, tax the gross.
Yes.
Is there anybody to regulate to make sure that nobody is coming back to come and tax the share they got? Because
no,
this is Nigeria.
Equity aids the vigilant, not the indolent.
Okay, so
if you sleep
I wanted to help him.
Yes.
There is a documentation for that tax that was paid by the family. Everybody has their own copy. You know, now surname now, Shebi, they are all the same. So everybody has their own copy to say that we paid the tax.
All right. The next section says, imposes tax on all incomes, profits, or gains of a person in or derived from Nigeria, except gifts. So two things are there. If you derive income in Nigeria or from Nigeria, you're supposed to pay taxes. Usually, this may not concern us too much. It usually concerns companies that are operating offshore, non-resident companies that derive income from Nigeria. Let's say Facebook, Meta, right? Or Google, they own YouTube. Many people are content creators. And once you keep watching the advertisements and some videos they do, they are earning money. So those income they derive from Nigeria, they are meant to pay taxes to the Nigerian Revenue Service. We've said before, Nigerian Revenue Service will replace what we now know as FIRS. So they are supposed to pay taxes because they derive income in or from Nigeria. Another thing mentioned there is that the only exception here is gifts. So when someone gives you a gift, you have your husband gives you a gift, your man friend gives you a gift. Before, gifts used to be taxable, but under these new tax laws, in fact, some of us kicked against it, but they won the battle on the other side. Gifts are no longer taxable. The issue it was kicked against is, how do you separate the transfer done to someone tagged as a gift when in fact it was a payment? How do you know? How do you separate the chaff from the grain, from the wheat? All right, next session. Next session says benefits in kind. This one is somehow. Benefits in kind is you work for a company. Let's say you work for a multinational. They gave you a vehicle, so you did not buy that vehicle. They are paying for a premises for you to live in. You're no longer paying rent for it, right? You know, if the coin were flipped, you are supposed to pay rent somewhere and live. You're not going to be on the road. And as Oga, where you be in that company, you're supposed to drive your car to the company, or you're supposed to buy a car. But since these things have been provided for you, it has offset some expenses from your income, right, that would have otherwise accrued to your income. Yes. The law sees it as a benefit in kind. It's not a benefit in cash or in salary, no. It's a benefit in kind and should form part of your gross income. So, let's say I've seen one of my mentees here from UNEC. So, there are lecturers who stay in UNEC. I went to UNEC too myself some years ago. Those lecturers who stay in quarters have never paid rent one day. The law is saying, no, it's not just that your salary that you're benefiting. You're also benefiting from living in a rent-free house. If you have a vehicle given to you, you're benefiting from it. We should compute it as part of your taxes. And there are rules to it here. They say your salary plus 5% of the amount expended or the market value of that asset you're using. So they are not saying the full amount. So the car, let's say the car is 50 million. Cars are very expensive now. 50 million. 5% of 50 million plus your salary is how they will calculate your gross income before starting to do all the allowable deductions. Then again, for the rent, the full amount paid or supposed to have been paid as rent, subject to maximum of 20% of the gross income you earn. Those calculations, I won't bore anyone with it. But if you have that peculiar case, you can come to me for consultancy. All right. However, if your employer provides meals, you have a canteen in your workplace, is your employer that pays for it, or provides work tools and equipment, the law says those are not benefits in kinds. They shouldn't compute it as part of your taxes. So if I give you helmet and rain boots and vest to go and do some engineering work, it will not be computed as part of your salary. That's what an employer should do. It used to be in the old law as part of benefits in kind. It's no longer there. Section 20 is an interesting one. Section 20 provides for allowable deductions. So, we say there are exemptions. We also look at a comprehensive list of exemptions, 50 of them in this new tax law. For me, the new tax law will benefit the masses much more than the government. For me, how I've looked at it. So for you to have 50 exemptions, there is no way you're in Nigeria, you won't fall under one of the exemptions. In fact, every one of us are falling under the exemption of excluding 800,000 of our income in every year. Right? We've already gotten that. So what are the allowable deductions? If you run a business, for instance, or even if you don't run a business, as a person, if you incur expenses wholly and exclusively in the production of your income before ascertaining the profit or loss for your trade, for your vocation, your profession or business, that expenses incurred wholly and exclusively in running, in obtaining that income is exempt. It's an allowable deduction. It's not exempt, it's an allowable deduction. So it's allowable because...
Meaning we have to deduct it from the gross before we can tax.
Yes, you have to deduct it from... So you've removed 80,000. We've started calculating our taxes. You've removed 80,000 already. All of us have removed 80,000. Or if we are paying under direct assessment tax, 800,000 for a year. We've removed it. In fact, it could even be more. We do calculation that shows that if you have a rent relief of 20% of your rent, or 500,000, whichever is less in a year. So we've removed 800,000. We are removing another 500,000, for instance. That's how much? 1.3 million, right? Mm-hmm. That one apart. And then there are allowable deductions. Say you, in getting your income, you transported yourself to this place and that place, you remove that one. You can now start calculating your taxes yourself based on the kinds of income you earn. All right, section 20 sub 3. However, puts a proviso. It says that any liability you waive, someone is owing you now, and you waive that liability, or you recovered it or released it, I'm more interested in waiving. If you waive that your friend is owing you, and you see this friend is in penury, and you want to say as a good person that you are, let me allow this friend to go with it. Omo, the tax laws say they will compute it as part of your tax. So they will compute it as part of the income you earned. Because otherwise, if you've gotten it back, you would have been taxed on it. So it will be part of your accessible profit or chargeable gains. Next slide, please. Next slide. Thank you. So deductions not allowed by the new tax acts. So when you look at section 21, it contains, sub 3 contains all the deductions that are not allowed. Call it non-allowable deductions. Are there deductions that people ordinarily make because they are smart or because they know accounting or they feel that anything can be deducted? That the law will say, no, Oga, put it back. It's part of your income. Number 1, disbursements or expenses not wholly and exclusively incurred for the purpose of acquiring the income. So this is a reverse of the one we said allowable deductions wholly and exclusively incurred for the production of the income. So if you go and spend money and stay in a hotel, when your employer has provided premises, accommodation for you in the same town, that is not allowable deduction. No. They will not compute that. Capital repayments or any expenditure of a capital nature. So capital is used in pursuing gains and profits, right? So if you go and remove it entirely, what are we going to tax you on? So we are taxing you on the gains only. The capital will not be allowed to be deducted. It's not an allowable deduction. There are rules around it when it comes to companies. There's company allowance. These are separate things that we'll not delve into now. Domestic or private expenses. So you go and buy what you use to cook. Or you go and buy bread and ice cream. And you want to put it to your employer. Deduct this from my salary. Deduct it from the taxes you're going to compute. Or you're computing based on self-assessment. You want to deduct private expenses. The law says no. Rent or cost of repairs for premises not occupied for the purpose of trade or business. If that premise was occupied for the purpose of trade or business, that could be allowable deduction. Taxes on income or profits levied in Nigeria or elsewhere. So, if your business operates outside Nigeria and peradventure also operates in Nigeria, and you want to play smart and say, I've paid taxes in UK, and Nigeria should not tax me again. No, if you earn income in Nigeria, we will tax you again.
Okay, sorry, sir. I think we need to, because we are constrained for time.
Okay, how much time do we need? Do we have?
Maybe the next 15 minutes.
I can finish in 15 minutes.
Oh, no, hold on. There's something I want us to do with that 15 minutes. If you run a business here, can I see your hand? You run a business. Okay? You have a job. Can I see your hand? Okay, so I want us to narrow the conversation now to, as a business person, what are the first 3 steps I need to take now from where I am to become tax compliant?
They are here already.
As a staff of a company, you know, for many of the people who work, even if companies say they are deducting tax from their salary, whether they are paying to government or not, you don't know. Okay. You cannot even go and ask the management, say, this thing you are removing from my money, are you paying the government? You can't even ask that question, given the kind of management that runs most of the businesses around. If you now go to do 1 or 2 business with the government, or you just hear announcement that Enugu SME Center is doing a free training or is giving grants, you now go and queue. They say you produce tax clearance. Meanwhile, you are not the one paying your tax. Now your company, they pay the tax. How do you go about it? Where will you get tax clearance from?
Thank you.
So I want to see if we can address those issues. Then we can take a few questions from
All right.
From them.
So let's go to slide 14. Compliance obligations required by Nigerian Tax Administration Act. Quickly. So, number 1, that law demands that every taxpayer must register and obtain tax ID. Tax ID includes TIN, taxpayer identification number. In fact, it could be issued by FIRS, Nigerian Revenue Service, or State Internal Revenue Service. In fact, if you fail to obtain TIN by January, after January closes, you will pay a penalty of 50,000.
On a year,
and right now it's free of charge. You pay a penalty of 50,000. And if after February, each month that you don't obtain the TIN, you pay additional 25,000.
Cumulative?
Yes. Additional 25 becomes 75. Another month it will become 100. It will keep running. So take advantage of the opportunity and register. I don't know the forum where I can share okay, I think what I will do.
Just send to Pastor B.
Yes.
She will
what I
cascade
will do
through
is
HODs. Through
I will share an Excel sheet.
Okay.
Someone should dedicate time and collate the data of members of the church who don't have TIN, so that we'll do a mass registration of TIN
for everybody.
Yes, once and send back.
Emoji.
So I will send an Excel sheet. So TIN is 1. And if you accompany a government body and you award contract to a vendor who does not have TIN, you are going to pay penalties that could reach up to 5 million. So even for us, we cannot now in 2026 award contract to anybody who does not have TIN. If there are changes in your particulars, let's say you change your address and you now live somewhere else, don't assume that the State Internal Revenue Service will know. We are not ghosts. You have to inform us of change in particulars. Or you marry and you change your name, you have to also inform us. If you don't, penalty of 50,000. Every individual, before then, there's also what we call ESBN. ESBN is the unique identifier for Enugu residents and businesses. It's also free of charge. During the time of, I don't know, it will not be possible to generate both once, because that will require a passport, right? And in the Excel sheet, I'm not sure the passports
can stay there.
Yes, but let's get the thing. That's the one that has penalty attached to it, and we have 1.5 months to fall short of that penalty.
Sorry, the consolidated demand notice that you showed on the screen, that particular slide, can we have it too? You know, so do you know what the slide I'm talking about?
Yes, I know. I know.
Is it, how do we access that particular document so we can have handy all the, you know, the taxes?
It actually depends on your business, right? There are businesses that will not have some of these or have more of this.
Yes.
It depends on the sector where you operate.
But right? You know, since it's not divided according to, if we just have that total breakdown.
I can afford you a copy of.
Okay, please.
Yes, a comprehensive demand,
please.
Consolidated demand notice. All right. So, apart from these two, every individual, every individual must file tax return, whether income is liable to tax or not. So even if you earn below 800,000 or you don't even earn income at all, the law requires that every year, is usually in the old tax law, is on the 31st of March. This new tax law said each Internal Revenue Service can specify a date they want to put as deadline. So we may maintain that 31st or extend it. You must, every individual taxpayer, whether or not your income is exempt from tax or your taxable, you must file an annual return. So before next year, we will have on our website, I'll also call our website out here, www.irs.en.gov.ng. You can start your TIN registration from there. And when you get your request ID, you send to us, we approve it. I think someone has done that.
Thank you. So you just said what I wanted to ask about, the request ID. I tried to register because the one I had before, they said it wasn't linked to name. So I tried to register again, and I saw request ID, which is not the thing.
Yes. But if you have it, you can send to me. You get your thing.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, all right.
Okay, so what's the platform where we go to do this filing?
The filing on our website, www.irs.en.gov.ng.
So everybody has an account there. That's what it means. If you have TIN, you create an account.
Filing is different from this thing we are talking about now. So let's separate the two.
Okay.
For filing is you stating, you see a kind of form saying this is the income you earn, this is the expenses you made, this is the tax you paid, or this is the tax that you're not supposed to pay tax. Just basic information. It does not cost anything. It's still on that website that you do it. I'll check if it's up for next year, because it's usually, taxes are supposed, apart from payee and withholding taxes that are deducted as you go, taxes are supposed to be paid on a previous year basis. So by next year, right, we're going to be checking who paid what for this year. So it will start in January. So that's when that form will be up for you to fill and say, this is my annual return, this is what I earned, this is what I paid, this is what that I did not pay at all. I'm not supposed to pay. Just state all those things with your personal information that are required, and you're good to go. No payment is made for that as well, just like the thing. Okay, so an employer, or whether individual or company, must also make a filing for all its employees on or before 31st of January every year. In fact, the penalty for that one presently is 500,000. But I think the new tax law reduced it to 100,000. Yes, I'm not very sure, but I think it's
so
around.
You're supposed to pay cumulative tax of the previous year for all your employees.
All your employees, you do your annual filing. From January, you see people rushing. So now we've digitized the entire process. That one is up already. From January, it's been up. We no longer want manual filing, hard copies, because some organizations really have very bulky documentation. They have many employees. And when they submit these documents, they are so voluminous. We don't want that anymore. We are digitizing all our processes. So once you file online, you're good to go. But if you don't file, penalty awaits you. So, lastly on this, right? Okay, not lastly anyway. Taxable persons who are granted tax incentives, all these exemptions we've been talking about. You have been granted incentives, so you must still, in addition to your annual tax returns, submit annual tax incentive returns. We want to know who we give incentives to, so that we can plan our year. This is the number of people who gave incentives. Maybe it covered only this sector. Let us also extend incentive to the other sector.
And if we do, this will be the cost implication.
Yes. You see, one thing about taxes is more or less, not just about the revenue you generate. It's also the data that you generate to plan the economy of the state. So once we have that data, the states can say, okay, this number of people pay taxes, this number of people were given incentives. If this number of people can pay taxes next year, we'll be able to generate a revenue that will meet so and so targets, so that we can do certain developmental and infrastructural projects. That's the whole essence of everything we've been talking about on the side of the government. So, other obligations. Every taxpayer who has obligation to withhold taxes must file monthly return on the deductions. I told us about withholding taxes. If you give someone contract, the law says withhold 2% if it's above 2 million, right? We talked about it in the beginning.
Yes.
If you withhold it, file return, show us that you deducted, you gave this person contract, you gave the other person contract, you gave the other person commission. These are the things you deducted. File and show us. There's also a penalty for it if you do not do that. Banks, insurance companies, stockbrokers, and other financial institutions are also required to make monthly filing on new customers and also those who have done transactions above 25 million. Okay, this law allows for self-assessment. I've said this before, you can assess yourself. And the form is so simplified that when you look at it, you don't even need any tax expert to help you. Apart from self-assessment, the tax authority has power to do administrative assessment. So even though you've done self-assessment, we may look at you and say, no, Pastor Francis, you're a HNI. What you have stated in your tax return is way below what we have seen you do, and what we have seen you boast on stage that you've done. How come? So we do our own assessment, and even after doing administrative assessment, it doesn't stop there. If you discover new facts about you, it usually happens with the HNIs or those big importers in Obuete. You know, so many people just pay 36,000 and think my tax obligation has finished. Like one of my uncles, the man imports things from the West with big trailers, right? Someone I'm very close to. If you see where he's shouting that he paid 36,000 or more, you will not believe it's this same man, right? But I usually tell him, Uncle, the day we will come, it's not this 36, so I won't be the one that will come. I won't finger you first. But they will come. And when they come, you pay the appropriate tax. So if we discover intelligence, we do additional assessment on that taxpayer. There is an option for you to object on any of these assessments done to you. We have also the option to review those assessments. And if you're an employee...
Sorry, sir. Let me add to what you just said.
Yes.
For clarity purpose. So I got a mail from FIRS. And they told me that they assessed me and they have looked at my account from 2021 to 2024 and that I am owing them 20-something million naira.
For VAT?
Yeah, they spoke plenty grammar in that. They said I've made turnover of over 100 million and I owe them that amount. And they calculated how they came about what I owe them. Now I check, say, if I get this kind of money, I go see the way I did. Maybe I for done jackpot now or something like that. In any case,
everybody jackpot.
I'm just kidding. So I spoke with my tax consultant, and then he told me that it happens that some of these mails are random mails being sent by the FIRS in the midst of the wake of Tinubu's tax drive across business owners. Now this is the sad part. Most business owners who are totally ignorant go to the tax office, cap in hand, to beg. Then they now start negotiating the money, negotiating. Meanwhile, originally, they were not owing that money.
Originally.
And that's how they now, maybe they can bring it down from 20 million down to like 3.5 million. Then they will now pay and go. But what I did is that I paid for the services of the tax consultant.
Beautiful.
Then, yes. Then
Beautiful.
he
I was coming to
did. I
that.
didn't say because we are brethren. No. I paid. Unless he now said that you are MOG. I will do it for you for free. So he wrote them. And in that letter that he wrote, he gave me a copy. He stated what they stated, and then he said dispute. Then he stated my position. Then he asked me to go and print my account statements from that period that they talked about up until that time to back up my claim. Do you see what he's talking about? So you cannot just come out and start challenging the tax authority that they say we can object. That thing I say is not true. No.
It must be evidence-based.
You will bring evidence. And so when I did that, they wrote me again that I should come for a physical conversation. I went, we discussed. Up until today, now so I take go, I no pay one, sick dying, I didn't give them anything. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I just wanted to make you understand the practicality of what he's saying.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so very much for that. So, quickly, before we conclude, let's look at some of the tax incentives available to us.
Sorry, sir. There's something you have not touched.
Okay.
The person who is working for an organization.
Yes, I was driving at that before you.
Yes, sorry, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
All right, so you're working for an organization and your taxes are being deducted at source and remitted through the payee system to the tax authority. And suddenly you want to travel abroad and you get to the embassy and they tell you, Madam, where's evidence that you pay tax? They will not tell you tax clearance, so they will usually not say it. They say, show us evidence that you pay tax. And you come back to your employer, your director of accounts, your bossa, your account officer, and say, you people have been deducting money and call the taxes. Where is the evidence that you've been deducting it from me? And they will tell you, we don't have any evidence. My dear, what you will do is to tell them to write a letter containing your information and stating that you've paid tax for the past 3 years, the 3 preceding years. Let's say you are requesting for it now. The letter should state that you paid tax in 2024, 2023, and 2022. And attach a pay slip showing at least 1 month from each of the year, any random month. If they attach it and address it to the executive chairman, Enugu State Internal Revenue Service, just follow up. You can get your tax clearance in 48 hours at most.
That is in the event that the said organization has actually been remitting tax.
Yes.
If they have not been remitting tax.
No, you will come under direct assessment.
You guys, do you understand what's going on here? What this means is that you are OKK and Sons, and I'm your staff, and I'm the one in the picture that he's describing. I now wrote, and I came to manager, you know even day, now you be your guy. Manager now agreed, not be to write letter, he wrote and said she has been paying tax. I mean, he's aware that we've been deducting. But manager is not the one in control of the account. You know that. The money has not been going to government, as is happening in many businesses, including the ones of people who are in church. So now manager has given me a letter, and I took it to his office. They now check their records. They don't have any record to show that OKK and Sons has been paying payee for their employees. It means that Enugu IRS will now come after OKK and Sons. Oga will now rake manager. Say, who went and stirred this honest, and then bees are flying all over the place? Say, we have to write to for one employee, blah, blah, blah. So what it means that this employee now has chiptala the people okunilo. Do you understand the idea? So you know what you are going for when you are going for whatever you're going for.
They are committing tax fraud already, because they can come after them. But if you're an employee who has a similar situation, what you can then do is just forget about, if you need that tax clearance, forget about them. Come and you are assessed, right? If you are assessed and you need that tax clearance urgently, when you are assessed, you are told an amount to pay. It usually will not be below 100,000. It's 3 years, right? Once you pay that amount and you pay it through the central management system. You can pay it in the comfort of your house. But before then, your TIN, your ESBN must first be generated if you don't have one, before that payment can be made in your name successfully. So it means you have to walk into the Internal Revenue Service or contact a trusted fellow, not just any fellow that works with us, a trusted fellow that will give you an accurate tax clearance. Because we discovered when we came in, some people were faking our tax clearance. We now imputed barcode that is scannable from anywhere in the world, so that you can verify if that tax clearance is authentic.
So that means the document will have a barcode on it
yes,
when you get it?
A barcode, and the reference number can also be imputed somewhere to check, but the barcode is easier. Okay. Any scanner shows whether the tax clearance
be guided.
is accurate. All right. So
all right, thank you.
Yes, so, the tax exemptions before we close, because this one benefits the masses. That's why I want to talk about it. We have 50 of them. Please, slide 12. Slide 12. Are we there? So, income tax exemption. The one that I should mention here is individuals earning minimum wage. We've talked about it. If your annual gross income is up to 1.2 million, you may be exempt from tax. You know how we are able to arrive at it? First of all, 800,000. Then that rent relief of either 20% of your income or 500,000, whichever is less. You know that if you add 500,000 to 800,000, it will be 1.3. But they just wrote up to 1.2 million here. Gifts are exempt from taxes, fortunately. Allowable deductions, we mentioned them. Importantly, if you're under the payee system and your organization is very organized and you have pension contribution, it should be deducted before your taxes are calculated. You have health insurance
deducted
that is linked to the National Health Insurance Scheme, deducted. National Housing Fund contributions, deducted. Interest on loans of owner-occupied residential housing, not the one you built and rented out, deducted. Life insurance annuity premiums, deducted. As we have said, 20% of annual rent up to 500,000, deducted.
So I hope you understand that what he's saying here is that assuming you have 100,000 naira as salary in a month, normally an organization that has structure has a breakdown of that money. There's transport, there's wardrobe allowance, there is basic salary, they have all that list. Then for people who pay pensions, who do pensions, who even do NSITF, that's another whatever that, some big organizations do. They will have to remove all these deductions from your salary.
All these allowable deductions.
All these allowable deductions, right? Before they now say if the tax is 10% or 20%, right, in the payee system, that's what they will now remove. So they are not taxing 10% of 100,000, right? They are taxing 10% of what is left after all the allowable deductions. Does this make sense?
All right. Let's see if our voice is good enough for this. Pensions and gratuities generally are tax exempt. Pension funds and assets which are under the Pension Reform Act, pension gratuity or any retirement benefits granted in line with the Pension Reform Act, compensation for loss of employment. If you've known anybody who had a permanent job in the bank to a certain level, if you lose that employment, they usually give you loss of employment package. There's a package given to you. So if that package is not more than 50 million, that will be tax exempt. You go and eat your money, right? In this present law that we're operating on, phasing out after 1st January 2026, the amount is to the new economic realities, it's been upgraded to 50 million. Capital gains tax exemptions. We've mentioned that you do not pay capital gains tax as a small company whose turnover is below 100 million in a year. So, don't know that.
Yes.
So, to calculate your tax now, 800,000 don't go. If you end up to 3 million, 15%. Next 9 million. So,
That's
12 million, 18%. Then the next 13 million, that's 25 million, right?
Million, yes.
21%. And then next 25 million, that's 50 million, 23%. And then above 50 million, I'll be paying 25%. That's what I want to pay. I don't know for you, I want to pay 25%. I want to get money. Yeah? So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time.
Okay, sorry, there are questions.
I know.
So let's see how many of them we can take, because everybody seems to have a question. If the answer to a question answers your question, calm down. Let somebody else ask. Instead of asking a question has been answered another way. So this one says, for Nigerians living in diaspora, how does this new tax law affect them? That's one. Yeah, so you want to take them one after the other, or should I ask a number of questions and you answer? Okay, the next one says the NGOs. In fact, before the NGOs, specifically to how does this new tax law affect ministries? Ministries here, I mean, are churches, individual, independent ministries that are registered, right? Run accounts, like, in the name of the ministry. How does this affect them? Because they are captured under NGOs. So how does the tax law affect NGOs and how they manage their taxation? That's the second one. Then the third one down says, house owners, not land that collects rent, how can their taxation be managed? House owners, I think it's answered this question. Owners of house, this one has been answered. I don't know if you were not here. So I think we should take the first two that I asked now. The one that has to do with diasporans and has to do with NGOs, including churches and independent ministries.
Rules. Let me check. There are many new rules on who are taxable persons in Nigeria. I deliberately did not want to go into it while preparing for this, but that question has come up. But I will try. It's not something I can simplify easily, but let me try. The basic rule for taxation is residency, right? That you're resident in Nigeria. However, if you have family ties back in Nigeria, you have your wife, your children here in Nigeria, and you live abroad, this new law says you have to pay your tax in Nigeria.
How would they calculate the revenue from where you are supposed to pay the tax? If this revenue is generated abroad where you live and not back here in Nigeria, how would they calculate how much you're supposed to pay?
All right. The only way to calculate it is use of intelligence. And on that level, right, on the level of Nigerian Revenue Service with other revenue services outside the country, they share intelligence. So they can calculate it that way. The reason is that they don't want people to, some people even evade taxes over there because they say their family is here, right? Or try to walk around the taxes. They want you into the tax net. It's either you're living with your family or you're staying here, right? So these are part of the new rules. If you have substantial family ties, that's how the law puts it, substantial family ties to Nigeria, you pay your taxes here. The question I've asked on that law myself is, let's say, because it's a residency rule thing, if your family stays in Enugu, and when you come into Nigeria, you stay in Lagos, because you have limited time to stay. I want to run back immediately. And your family will leave you, sit you there. Which of the state's internal revenue service should even collect this tax? So, you know, laws sometimes may be easier to make, but difficult to implement. So we'll look at it when we start implementing it and see how that goes. So Nigerians who live abroad may now pay tax in Nigeria.
Okay, so then the churches, NGOs, independent ministries.
You know, we've said that churches are exempt as a body from tax because they are regarded as charities, and what they do is faith-based. However, churches employ people and sometimes pay those people. Those people earn income. Those people that earn income should pay their taxes. You can pay for them. Not that you as a church is paying. You're paying the payee of your staff. That's how many NGOs do. Some churches in Enugu here do it as well. Some other churches don't. They feel everything is, anything taxes should not even come to them. Yes. Again, if a church or a charity runs a business, owns a business, that business is not wholly and exclusively meant for charitable purposes.
Therefore, it's liable to pay tax.
Yes. So you own a hospital, right? And that hospital, whenever people go to it, they pay. You have to pay tax. You own a school. Whenever people go to, even your own members may not attend it free of charge. You have to pay tax, right? So these are the areas where taxes may come up for churches and charities. But you will not pay land use charge. The law exempts you from it. So this whole area of property here, no matter how large it is, nobody is coming to collect land use charge. And if you paraventure see a demand notice, take it that is a mistake. You don't even need to call me or call anybody you know. It's a mistake. Nobody is coming to enforce it. So the funny thing, I told us here that governments don't pay, government bodies and organizations don't pay. So I went to State CID one day to see the PA to the commissioner. And he told me, TA, I was about coming to your office now. Who is that stupid person that came and served us land use charge demand notice? I say, what? For real, I saw the thing. Say, please disregard it. Don't come to our office. You don't need to stress yourself. Thank God I am here. And it was funny, right? You see, some of these people who go to issue these things don't even read the law and know what is in the law. That's why it is important that you people are here. And I appreciate it as a person. I may be the resource person. But if there are nobody here, if there are only seats here, I will not speak to empty seats. So I appreciate you all who are here to learn. Please share this knowledge to everyone else around you. Thank you.
This one says, do house owners have to pay SWAMA? Or the people who live in there are the ones that are supposed to be paying SWAMA?
Okay. The people who live there, they are the ones that generate the waste.
Following this one, okay.
Lastly, recently they did a capturing in Premier Health. And when they bring the demand notice, some houses, like my own house where I live, we have 4 flats, 1 penthouse, which the landlord stays abroad is staying. But when they captured it, what I saw they put for us is 8 flats. And they're billing us for 8 flats.
What's the demand notice for?
It's for payment of SWAMA that they now said that we should start paying 3 years from now. Now, a house beside our own was just completed this year. People packed in last month. And I was wondering, why are they going to start paying 3 years before now?
When they packed in last month?
They packed in last month. 2, when there are construction, because when we did this construction, there's an amount we paid to SWAMA for construction.
Yes. Debris. For debris, yes.
Debris. So I think he covers until the people start renting the house. So if a new house was built and somebody is parking in that month, you are telling the person to start paying 3 years before he parked in. We had a duplex that they have not parked in. Work is still going on there. They have given us 3 years. So I want to know how.
I can simply answer the question. Thank you for raising that question. You know, most times those things are done blindly. The bill that is issued everywhere is 3 years preceding, 2023, 2024, 2025. They may not have known the peculiarity of that building. And even if they know, some of those people who go to issue that cannot do anything about it. It's you that has been issued that notice. It's incumbent on you to pick up the phone and call. If the number there does not trace back to someone at a managerial position, find out who is in a managerial position, or walk into elsewhere and say, you want to meet the MD. Straight. You want to know who is in charge. Look at the situation. I kid you not. That person will not tell you to pay for 3 years. If you have evidence that this house was just completed, that if they make any inquiry, that they will have that information, they will not ask you to pay for 3 years. That's one. Two, for the initial question you asked about having 5 flats or so, and you're
4 flats, and they were built for 8 flats.
And you are built for 8 flats. Take it that is a mistake. Also object to it. Right? The issue now comes if you don't object, if you relax and they come for enforcement and start harassing people, or how a swimmer does sometimes, carry somebody and boom to their office. Right? The issue arises then because you slept on your rights. You become indolent. If you're vigilant and picks a calls, say we are ready to pay, but you have to amend this your notice to reflect the reality of this building. It will be done.
Okay.
Really? You can actually give me the name of the street. I will speak to the MD directly. No problem. No problem. That may be fraudulent if they are doing things like this. It's not even supposed to be the management that will pay. Except they have factored it
into the rent.
Yes.
Now, even on completed building.
Completed building, the debris.
And all. The person is not even constructing it, is there.
No, they will not charge flats. They will charge for debris.
If I know that this will come, I will tear the thing and show you.
That may not be the best now.
Okay.
Yeah, that may not be the best. They are
from
acting
the
on lawful authority, even though erroneously.
From the foregoing, it means that one of the things we have to learn to do as a people is to be proactive. That when you see certain things, you don't take it lying down. You get up. You make consultations. Now, this is the Nigerian conundrum. It will cost you time. It will cost you energy. It will cost you money. But do the work. You know why? One leg in is an entire battalion coming inside, though. What you're seeing now is just one leg. So you're not seeing what is outside. Once you agree for that first initial gra, there is more coming. You remember EEDC? They increased the money by 1,000, you know talk. They increased it by 3,000, you know talk. 3 months later, they increased it by 10,000. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Exactly. I've fought some of these fights, so I know what I'm saying. So one of the things you have to be able to do, just like Pastor Mecca said now, to address this issue is to learn to write. These days, you don't have to crack your head anymore. AI does that job for you. If you just go to ChatGPT or, any of all of those platforms like Claude or anything like that. In fact, there's a particular special AI that I use. The AI is a phone number. Once you save it on your phone, it's on your WhatsApp automatically. You just go to the AI, put voice notes, and tell the AI the story. As Pastor Mecca did now. See, there are 4 flats here. Yes, Mama came to bill us for 8. The amount is also amount. I want you to write me
a letter challenging that decision, so I can go and attach their a photocopy of their demand notice and submit it to the. You understand what I'm saying? In 1 minute, it will generate that information in Microsoft Word documents. You download it, you go through it, you take a copy of that their demand notice, attach to it, and then approach S1 office, ask for who is in charge, like he said. You submit the letter. This is one powerful way of addressing the issue. And you could get response immediately to say, oh, yeah, sorry. They know what they did, though. Yes. What they have just done is that they have exempted you from the rest of the people that they are going to do boju boju. Are you following what I'm saying? You now see why that scripture said, the man of knowledge increaseth in what? Strength. You remember that scripture we read when we started? Exactly. This is how it works. So, okay, you need to give us a phone number at this point. You need to give us a phone number. Okay. I'm coming to you. We are still taking your questions. When we see this kind of ojoro that Pastor Mecca is talking about from Enugu IRS, please, is there a hotline we can call to say, Bikono, Bataro no say Yemaka? No name. Please give us a phone number we can reach. All right. Okay, so while he is looking for the phone number, this is the AI phone number I told you about. Take it down. It's called Podus AI. Yes, Podus, as in Podus. This is bonus for coming for this for this class. 070 6795 1851. 070 6795 1851. Save as Podus AI. You will see it on your WhatsApp. It's designed to draft legal and case documents. Okay, you're supposed to get this thing. No? This is your, it's for your people.
My secretary has taken notes.
Okay. 070-6795-1851. Podus AI, Podus, 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 Podus AI is designed to draft letters that are targeted towards addressing issues and for cases and stuff like that. All right? So, sir, are you ready with the number?
Yes. All right. The number you can call to get Enugu State Internal Revenue Service is 080 75 62 5555. So 4 5s, quadruple 5. 080 75 62 5555. And if you want to get SWAMA, I want to speak with the MD. You can get Richard Onaga, is the acting MD, on 080 38 86 92 54. Again, 080 38 86 92 54. Which other agency does anyone need the number? Let me see if I have it here. Or what? Water Corporation, yes. A minute. All right. You can get Mrs. Adamwonye. She's the permanent secretary, Water Corporation, on 080 33 11 27 34. I go again. 080 33 11 27 34. Mrs. Adamwonye, the permanent secretary, Enugu State Water Corporation. All right. No more questions, Abi?
No, there are questions.
My people, my people. More.
You don't be. So, even where to stop
somewhere
in this matter today. This one says, why does Eswama? You know, this man is not Eswama.
But let's just
throw
it
the
up.
question. We
Yes.
are still
Why
in
does
Enugu State
FOMA go
government.
about collecting fees without doing the sanitation job? You know, this must be referring to places where there are stashes of
Like
heaps of debris.
Mention an area where
unattended.
escalate it. Which
Transekolo.
side? Phase 6, Ubo side. Right now. All right.
Okay, this person is saying if somebody starts,
Please note that down.
when someone changes location, does he change SIN number?
No, you don't change your TIN number. Your TIN number sticks with you like your NIN
Okay, it's universal.
or your BVN.
Okay, so we now begin to take, please, straight to the point, right? Leg, they pain me and it's in my toe. What can I do?
You said for people that have not formalized their business by incorporating it, they will be, the business will be taxed as the individual. So I'm wondering how would the income be? How will it be taxed? Is it from the revenue, accumulated revenue of the person, like the business, over the year, over the complete year, minusing all the expenses it is? So how will it be taxed?
You've already answered the question.
Simple. That's how it will be taxed.
That's how. You apply that table. Okay. You remove the reliefs and then.
Okay. Please permit me. I have a number of questions.
No.
But some of them have been answered.
Two.
Some of them have been answered. So I'll just ask this. You've been talking about taxes. I don't know if Nigeria exempts tax on loans. Businesses who collect loans to run their business, because from what I've heard, you know, most of these billionaires in the Western world, they thrive on debts. They thrive on loans. So they exempt their tax naturally on loans, using loans. So I want to know if the same thing is applicable here in Nigeria. That is one. Also, another question is, for the benefit tax on cars, is it a one-off tax or continuous? What of in situations where the money from those gifts are deducted from your salary? As yes, let's say you are gifted a car from a company gives you a car. Gives you an official car, and then they are deducting it from your salary. Do you also pay tax on benefits on that? Yes. And even if it's a gift, a one-off gift, the tax you are paying on it, is it just for the first time? Because he said something about 50 million, and this is how much you pay on the 50 million, which is 5%, I guess. So do you pay it just once, or do you continue paying the 5% every year, driving that 50 million naira car? Yes.
Loaded questions.
The smile alone.
Loaded questions.
It shows that the question carry weight.
So we mentioned something about the exemption of loans used for use for business, right, from taxes. But it's not every loan, no. It's not every loan that is exempted. There has to be qualifications before that loan will be completely exempted from tax. But just bear in mind that if you take loan for your business, there's a level of exemption given to you. I'll get it across to you before the close of this. And the other one, the benefits in kind. If a company gives you a car, right, and you're paying for that car, it's no longer benefits in kind, because you're ultimately going to finish payments of that car. It's like a mortgage.
Yes.
Or a form of hire purchase, right? It's like a mortgage. So you are going to pay for it. It will not fall under the benefits in kind.
That means it's non-taxable.
Yes.
You are given a car this year, 2025, and it's worth 50 million, and you pay 5% tax on that gift. Are you also going to pay the same thing next year?
No, gifts are exempt from tax. I think that will answer the question.
Can we also get your slides? The
But
slides
benefits, there's a difference between gifts and benefits in kind.
So it
Gift
depends
is,
on how the
you
organization
do not
that
have-
gave it to you captured it.
Yes.
If they captured this as part of your benefits, which is normally what they will do.
Yes.
Because if they don't do that, they will pay tax for that.
The reason why you are giving a car is because you work for them.
Yes.
Once you stop working for them, you'll no longer be with that car. That car will go to someone else. So it's benefits in kind, not gifts. A gift is no strings attached.
Yes.
Nothing you've done to merit this. You've done something by being a good employee. That's why you're giving a car. Or getting a promotion that deserves that car. So it's benefits in kind. And you pay under the rules of benefits in kind, not gifts.
What's the question? Okay. The question is, please indulge me. So let's say you are looking to leave the country and you ask for tax clearance. And it happened that you parted with the former company you worked with, which has been collecting your payee, your tax. You stopped working with them on not so much of a good terms. How then do you go back to them? And what I'm saying is, according to your parting with this company, you have no relationship going forward. You can't even represent them in any capacity. How do you go about your tax clearance? Do you take the route, which is just approaching the Enugu State Internal Revenue and just...
That's the route you should take.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the easier route.
It's very obvious.
I come from the built environment. I operate in the built environment. And my question is two-pronged.
In the building environment?
Yeah.
Okay.
My question is two-pronged. One, scenario. A contractor is paid a mobilization advance. Does he pay tax on it? Secondly, for some of us who are consultants in that sector, I take Anambra State, for example. 50% of your fee goes and they tax the balance of 50%, 21% tax. How do you respond to that?
50% of your...
It doesn't have to be anywhere. Because
Yes.
Your account can be anywhere.
Okay. So let me understand your second question clearly. You say your first question was on... ask it again, please.
A contractor.
Yes.
Gets a job.
Yes.
Maybe ₦1 billion. He's
Yes.
paid mobilization advance of, say, 100 million. Does he pay tax on that 100
Of course. The thing is...
Meanwhile, remember...
Yes, let me answer the question.
Just a moment. Just let me clarify an issue.
All right.
Remember that there are other taxes he will have paid. You mentioned some of them in the course of your presentation. Like withholding. Thank you.
All right. I said when we were doing this illustration that there's a regime of tax called withholding tax. Absolutely. The withholding tax is not actually a tax in itself. It's an advance payment, or advance method of collecting personal income tax. So, as a contractor, the law sees it that if I allow this man, he will take 20 contracts in a year. And at the end of the year, he may not be... Thank you so very much. Thank you. No. If I allow this man, he may take 20 different contracts in a year. And at the end of the day, come and declare very small amounts. What do I do? Because people naturally could be unscrupulous and averse to payments of tax. What the law has said in its wisdom over the years is that let's collect the taxes as we go. Just like we collect payee. Right? The payee system, normally tax is paid in arrears. But the payee system said, no, let's collect as we go. Once you pay somebody, deduct and remit. That's the same method they take for contractors. Once your payment is coming, that 100 million, the law requires, depending on the kind of contract, if it is supplies, 2%. If it is building of roads, 2%. If it's other construction contracts, like building of other buildings that are not roads and schools, for instance, then, no, schools are not even there. Roads are 2%. Other construction buildings is 5%. The law says that person that is paying you has an obligation to withhold 5% or 2%, as the case may be, before paying you that 100 million. If they do not do it, they will be liable, they will be penalized. Right? So that's the law on it. So you keep on paying as you go. If the tax systems in Nigeria operate the way they should, before that payment is made to you, 5% or 2%, as the case may be, depending on what you're doing in the contract, will be deducted and you'll be given the rest. And it will be remitted to the state's internal revenue service where you live, not where you are contracted. So let's say you live in Enugu and you have a construction contract in Anambra. You're paying that 5% here in Enugu where you live. The person you're working for will deduct that money, right? And send it to Enugu State Internal Revenue Service. Give you a credit note that you will present to us when you come to Enugu. In the end of the year, if we tell you to pay personal income tax, you say, no, you've been deducting my taxes as I was doing my contracts. Look at the credit notes given to me by all the people who gave me contracts, showing that they have deducted and remitted. Please, all these things, combine them together. They constitute my personal income tax. And I bet you, nobody is going to charge you any extra money as personal income tax for the year, except it's discovered that you have other businesses that you do where you earn income from. So your second question, sir.
Second question is that for those who are doing consultancy.
Yes.
Again, let me take Anambra as a typical example.
Yes.
You earn, say, 100 million. They take away 50% of 100 million.
As what?
They keep it to themselves.
Oh, that's not tax, so.
Wait, I'm coming.
All right.
And then the balance of 50 is taxed 21%. So.
Why are you shaking your head? Pull up the old tax table. Let me see.
I am saying it because we have in the country a multi-faceted tax system. So I want to, what's your take on that?
All right. You know, we were forward-looking in what our taxes were. Please sit down now, please. Sit down, sir. We were forward-looking by looking at what we obtained in 2026. We did not go so much back to check the tax table currently. The tax table currently starts, nobody is exempt from personal income tax. Starts at 7%. The first 300,000. Yes, 7%, first 300,000. Then next 300,000, 11%. Next 500,000, 15%. Next 500,000 after it, 19%. Next 1.6 million, 21%. And above 3,200,000, 24%.
This was what was?
Yeah, this is what obtains presently. So if they had even applied the proper tax band, it should be taxed, that 50 million should be taxed at 24%. And not even 21. That's what the present tax law we're operating on says. So they are not doing anything wrong.
As it enters your account, are you required to pay some other tax? That's the point.
No. No. And if you don't live in Anambra, and you live in Enugu, or in Ebonyi, any other states, you can write to them to remit that tax to the appropriate
to your state of
authority.
residence.
Yes, it doesn't belong to them.
Otherwise, that state government can come after you that you are owing them.
I hope I answered your question, sir. I appreciate you for being here all this while. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam.
This is very insightful. For me, what you've taught us is very good. But I'm looking at creating more awareness for the local people at the grassroots level. Then, even in the markets, everybody needs to have an idea of what this whole thing is all about. Now, you have also said he works with the media. You can also liaise with him. If they can give you a slot, maybe every Tuesday from so and so time to so, depending on, so that you can educate people. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Lagos. Thank you on the area of sensitization. Let me speak briefly on it.
Okay, sorry, before you speak, because you're going to add to it, there's a program called Tax Matters in Lagos.
Yes.
Where the IRS officers come and sit down.
We've been planning it like forever.
So we are open to business. So you can respond to what she's saying.
What's the radio station?
Udoka FM.
Oh, I know Biggie now.
Yes.
Biggie is my man.
He's your guy.
Yeah. So, madam, we've been doing a lot of sensitization. He would, let me keep it down. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
He would attest. Oh, you don't have to. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, brother. So, he will attest to the fact that we usually run jingles and adverts with them. It costs us a lot of money. And we're not just running it with them, we're running it with almost all the radio stations. I don't think of any other agency of this state government that runs more adverts than
FIS, than Enugu IRS.
I don't think of any. And we still go on road shows. We still organize, almost every month, we're organizing one forum or the other. Yesterday, I spoke in one. That one was in titled Silos to Synergy among our fellow MD, our sister MDAs. So we keep on doing this. We're organizing a town hall meeting that will invite the entire Enugu state. It may happen in ICC on one of the big halls, Amadio or ICC. We're inviting everybody. And even before then, we started engaging sector by sector. So we'll be holding one with the Enugu Sports Club. We are holding one, when is 25th?
25th is Thursday, I think.
Okay, today we even have one, my Oga.
That's Upper Tuesday.
Yes, my Oga is going for one with the Full Gospel Businessmen Fellowship. We have series of engagements with different sectors. If you invite us to your group, I bet you we are coming. So we want this news to spread. We don't want our people to fall victim of any ignorance or the penalties of the law. No. I wish this place was fuller, but I'm happy these people that came around today, you will spread the news. And the media team too will put it up. Those who want to take advantage of it will look at the slides and the videos.
Okay, we are streaming live, so you can always go back to the video online.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, and re-listen through, right? So this hand has been up since, so let me go this way.
Okay, I want to ask concerning registered business or enterprise. Let's say from the registered business name or enterprise. Let's say from when you registered, that year and the next year, there was no tangible activities that actually happened within those period of years. So maybe third year after, a lot of things started happening. And you decided you want to start paying tax. So now you went to FIRS to ask the way to go, and you were told that you have to start paying from the date, from when the year you registered the business name. And I don't know, there was nothing happened that year and the year after. So what do you do? And I was told that there is a penalty for it. So what's the penalty for it?
All right. Even wondering why you should go to FIRS if what you have is a business name or an enterprise. So you may have gone to the wrong, please sit down. You may have gone to the wrong people and they are taking advantage of it. So where you would have gone to is the State Internal Revenue Service, except what you have is a limited liability company. So if it's not a limited liability company, ignore FIRS. If what they are asking you is not VAT, ignore them. The only thing they can collect from you, depending on your business, is VAT. But they have to show you that you've done things that are VATable. They have access to your account already. So if they spool it and you can compare and contrast that, yes, this thing they are saying is true. Or even if you've had transactions in your account, you're able to explain that this money does not belong to you. Right? Then you may have some form of relief or consideration. That's why I want people, when you have a business and you have an account tied to that business, please operate that account only and solely for that business. Don't start putting your personal money into it, right? It will be considered that it is part of your turnover, and they all will come into the computation of your taxes. And also, inversely, if you have personal money, let that personal money, if you have business money, let that business money not be entering into your personal account. We also take it that it is part of your personal income.
Income. With taxes as payee.
Yes. Separate, not just payee, even personal income tax through the direct assessment means. So separate Paul from Barnabas at every point in time.
Thank you. Okay, what in a scenario like I heard, I don't know how true that is, that pharmaceuticals are not liable to paying this tax. I don't know how true it is.
VAT, not liable to pay VAT. Okay. I mentioned it when we are talking about exemptions. Okay. But you see business premises, you have to pay. There's a license from the Pharmaceutical Council of Nigeria. Yeah. You have to always renew your licenses. If there is one from the Ministry of Health, you have to obtain it. Right? Yes, you pay your payee. If you have S1, you are, of course, all those ones, you have to pay them.
Okay, thank you. Lastly, sorry. Then, if, for instance, you are affiliating with a bigger pharmaceutical firm, okay, and there was an instance where I was asked to produce my account statement. Do you get?
By who asked you?
No, there was a transaction I wanted to do.
Is it a business partner that requested for this or government agency?
No, it's a bank. There was something I needed to do with the bank, so they asked for it. So why I'm saying this, when the account came, the statement of account came, they were seeing millions and millions and millions of naira.
You get money now?
No. It's not my money. It's business transactions. So now, if you people want to vet me now, right? I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. Yes. Are you going to vet me based on the figures you're seeing in my account that doesn't really belong to me? Just that these funds pass through my account. So I don't know. So how do I clarify myself to say this percentage is what is for me, why this XYZ is for so and so firm?
The IRS is not a ghost or a spirit to know which is which.
They are not AI either.
Yes, we are not AI. Even AI will not know all these things. So there's something in mobile transfer called narration. You should utilize it.
Yes.
It's a veritable tool. All my transactions have narrations.
Hey.
Yes. My own, I've been doing it before working with it.
I don't do it every time, so I'm beginning to see
I
now
do almost anyone I do transfer. Support. Fuel for he lost 15. Just like that, I separate everything so that I know nobody's coming to audit me, but that's how I do it.
Nadia Mama.
It helps me.
Yes.
Right? So at a point I was thinking of, okay, let me know how much I've used to support people in a year. Okay, I've used 3 of my different accounts to send different support. Let me send to a data analyst. Let me even check. If I kept this money to myself, what would it have done for me? Yeah? I helped some people and it helped their life. Let me compare and contrast what would have happened. So you can also, there are softwares to this. as well, that you can impute everything and you separate, QuickBook and the rest. However, use narration. That narration will explain to people that this money is for this. This money is for this. Mm-hmm. This one is passing through you. Mm-hmm. You can say for. Mm-hmm. Through anything that catches the eye. It will help a lot.
So that you don't have to speak plenty grammar explaining yourself without evidence.
That is true.
Right? Okay. No go today.
Okay, so for cases where you have partnerships or collaborations that require that, levels of funding will pass probably through the principal partner or collaborator, it's important that you have memorandums of understanding. That is the reason why documentation is very important. Many times we do a lot of businesses, money just passes and there's nothing that speaks to it, and that's where structure plays a very vital role in the business that you're doing. You must have documents that speaks to this business transaction, what goes to what party, what's the agreement, what percentage comes to this person, and then the liabilities and how everybody is supposed to bear, that. So when that document is also presented, in the case that you're being audited, it serves as a support document that enables everybody to understand, the big picture. This money has passed through my account. However, this is what comes to me, and this is what goes to other people. And also ensure that these other people have documents that show that they have paid their VAT on what it is that has gone to them. So everybody is well documented, and it covers all parties involved. So,
absolutely correct.
That means next chapter is business structure. For empowerment, so you see, do paper. Is it because I will run with your money? No, that's not what we are talking about. Do you see where I'm going? A lot of times church people do very bad business. Why can't we have documentation for business that we do? Why? You say, don't you trust me? I thought we are brethren. I trust you, but just let us write it down on pen and paper. It's also why you need to use invoices. Now you don't have to go and print paper. These things are now available. There are free invoices. It's on Microsoft Word. It's on Excel. It's also on Google Sheets, on Google Doc. It's also on Canva. Whichever one, you feel you want to adopt and use. Just write something. Put the amount. Download it. Send a copy to your client or whoever you are paying to. Keep your own copy. So when you bring all those papers, anybody can come out and say we did business. That's why this money moved. How do we know that you people did business? The MOU, the invoice.
So now that you've spoken about invoice, there's an innovation in the new tax law called e-invoicing. E-invoicing and fiscalization requires that every business from next year would implement a technology that does e-invoicing, and whereby the states gets a technology, right, that also does that e-invoicing and fiscalization. You are mandated to use it. Yes. And there is a penalty of 1 million. We did not treat penalties again. We skipped it.
Yes.
But you have the slides. Anyone who needs it, you can share to them. There's a penalty of 1 million for failure to use that e-invoicing or fiscalization system of a state or of the federal, of the Nigerian Revenue Service. So,
Claire? Okay, so let's count how many people have questions. Because what's happening here now is question is begetting question. And if we continue like that, we'll not go today. So all the people who are raising hands, please stand. Just stand. Come outside. Come and enter queue here.
Are you a school teacher?
So nobody is going to stand up and join this queue. Once we finish treating all these questions, we share the grace and go home. People of God, tomorrow is Sunday. Sunday is full-blown market day. For ministry people like us, Pastor Obi that has been waking up before 5 o'clock every morning since 2 weeks ago, he's still sitting here by this time. Tomorrow, by 5 o'clock, she's up again because she must be here to do whatever is necessary for service to take place. So, people of God, we should cut this thing short and go home. Amen? Once again, straight to the point.
All right. Please, can the questions be limited to 1 each?
Each, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. In exemption of tax payment, I was listening to, if I could hear about a session, education. talking about the maybe secondary school teacher, primary, or even the lecturers. Is there a way, are they being free from paying tax? Or is there a way the secondary school teachers can be exempted? Are they exempted?
I was speaking in the spirit when I said, are you a teacher? I said that now. I said that before you came up. I don't enter spirit like this. Pastor Francis, what are you doing today? All right.
Saul is now one of the prophets.
No problem. So let me answer your question quickly before you go back. I think what teachers should be looking at is not tax exemption, but improvements on salary. Sincerely. That's just my opinion on this. Teachers are not exempt. The only people exempt from taxes in Nigeria presently are the military. There's still debate on it, whether that exemption will fly. Because everyone needs to pay tax. So no exemption for teachers, unfortunately.
Because even police, they pay tax.
Then they pay.
Politicians. Oh, they pay tax now. You don't know.
Everybody, they pay tax.
The politicians pay tax. You know they have basic salary. Senator, House of Rep. They all have all those things. They pay tax.
And they also pay taxes on their different businesses. That's one of the fights we've had. Say, I'm a former local government chairman. I'm a deputy governor. Why are you coming to my hotel? Why are you coming to my furniture shop?
I say, Oga, tax immunity.
Oga, there is no immunity for anybody. If you need immunity, call governor. And I kid you not. When you call governor will drop that phone on you and tell you, call Ekene Namani, the chairman of Enugu State Internal Revenue Service. Go and speak with him. He will not listen to you, no matter who you are.
I have one question.
Yes, just one.
But I'm the one that gave you the paper and you did not explain.
Okay, you want to now explain this well? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
The one you talked about, NGO, right? Let's say like a ministry. You know, when you want to go and open an account, corporate account for an NGO, the bank will ask you for your TIN number.
TIN
and
for everybody.
They're not paying tax. Like, we're not talking about the one that employ workers. Talking about, like, yes.
The thing they are asking you for is it a thing for registering the NGO? Right. So far, you have a certificate of registration as a what's it called again?
Non-governmental organization.
Yeah, non-governmental organization or incorporated trustees. That's the business vehicle. That's the vehicle they use to register. So, registered trustees or incorporated trustees, just take that certificate, snap and send to us, right? Or come to our office, the ICT department. Give us email that we can send you the thing to. That's just it. It's a very simple process.
Okay, my question is, you talked about the salary, people that are supposed to pay salary to the employee and how to minus, and then you also do documentation so that you can say, okay, when you talked about 800,000, 80,000, all those stuff. Now I'm talking about those in the markets now. Let's say I own a shop in Kenyatta Market, and they are supposed to pay 36,000 naira a year. Now, do we deduct that 36,000 naira from what they are supposed to pay to us? Is it our own responsibility as the owner of the shop, or is it their own responsibility? I don't know if you understand my question.
I don't get. If you work for a shop owner.
No, let's say I'm the shop owner, yes, and the people in the shop are the ones to pay the tax. They're the ones that pay the 36,000 naira a year. Okay. Do they deduct it from the money they're supposed to pay to us, or is it their business?
Okay, even though you may be able to answer that question because I don't really understand it, but I want to speak to something that came to my mind when you spoke about this. I think Section 29 of the Nigerian Tax Act talks about presumptive tax for those who do not keep records. That's why we've emphasized record keeping. And thankfully, Pastor Francis here and Mommy Obi has helped emphasize record keeping. If you do not keep record, you see all this tax exemption within the talk. Not before you will still be taxed on a presumptive tax basis, saying since you do not keep record, we are assuming your turnover is this, then pay us this as tax. You will see us compile for that 36,000 next year. And mind you, the 36,000 is not just tax. It's a consolidation of government revenues. The tax element there is around 9,000. So even if we decide to remove the 9,000, you still pay the remainder. You still pay the remainder.
I know. Let him finish.
The government revenues in the 36,000.
Okay, so to your question, you that own the shop, you are not liable. That 36,000 is going to be paid by the person who is doing business in the shop.
Okay, I get it.
Where you will pay tax is on rent. Because what you are making is rental income.
Yes.
When that person you put in your shop pays you rent, you will pay tax on rent. But as per the 36K for all those, government levies, revenues, it is the person running the business.
Thank you for articulating the answer to this question, Pastor Francis.
Thank you very much. So what if you have a registered business in a Ebonyi state, but you live in Enugu? And that's because when you're registered LTD in CSC.
LTD?
Yes. They don't have options for remote people, like people that do something like digital marketing services that does not necessarily require a very big firm. You can just stay in your house and it becomes your own office. So when you want to hire like contractors, like freelancers, let's say you get a very big digital marketing project, you don't want to do video editing, and then you bring in a video editor, like I bring in a video editor. So who am I supposed to pay am I supposed to deduct any money from them, and which particular state should I remit it to?
All right. So usually, since taxes don't go.
Wait.
Since taxes are based on residence, if you are contracting someone to do a job for you, what you are checking is not your residence, not the residence of your business, but the residence of the person you are contracting. So if the person lives in Gombe and he's doing the work remotely, or even present here in Enugu, his taxes that you are deducting will be sent to Gombe State Internal Revenue Service, not to Enugu, not to where you incorporated your limited liability company or business name. Is that point clear? So which of them are you? Which of the digital entrepreneurs are you?
Digital marketer. Sorry,
digital marketer. All right. So you please, I'm blessed. You collect her number and we'll discuss with her on other things.
Okay. So see, when you are contracting other freelancers, their tax is not your business.
It is so.
Your business is somebody is paying you for the job.
No, it is a little. There's an obligation on her that is contracting to withhold.
That is if it's up to 2 million and above that she's paying.
Exactly.
Okay, if it's 2 million and below, no withholding tax.
No withholding
tax. Okay, so it is only
in a month.
Yes.
In a month, yes.
Okay, per month.
Yes.
Per month.
Yes.
Good. So if what you're paying a particular skilled person that you're hiring, right, is less than 2 million in a month. In a month. You understand, in a month? Because there is part of what he didn't go into because we don't have the time is there are ways to manage the provisions of the law regarding tax. So if I'm supposed to pay you 6 million, for instance, to work for me, if I pay you that 6 million in one fell swoop, that payment qualifies for withholding tax.
Yes.
But if I paid it to you 1.9 across 4 months, I've saved you from withholding tax. Are you seeing this? Is it correct what I said? Because correct. It's less than 2 million in a month. Is it making sense? If it is less than 2 million in a month, the tax of that person you hired is none of your business. It doesn't fall in the category that you're supposed to do withholding tax, because withholding tax is all you owe the government if you hire somebody to do work for you.
Absolutely correct.
Does it make sense?
Yes.
Is it clear now? Otherwise, the person will go sort himself out. You understand? So if you collect withholding tax, that's where you now do what he said. You will have to pay that withholding tax to the state IRS where that person is resident. Is it making sense?
You give the person a credit note. You can just check online how a credit note is designed.
Because the person goes, so you collect money, you short him money. So that document makes up for that money that was removed. Then now goes back to something important he said. Going forward, before you do business with other freelancers, ask them for their tin. You not get tin, go collect tin, my brother. It doesn't cost anything. And he said, after when? January 31st of 2026, you will pay 50K to obtain that thing they say you should go and get for free of charge now. Do you understand what I'm saying? So please beware of people who don't have thing that you're doing business with. You could run foul of the law and incur penalty even though you did not chop tax money.
My question is this. A firm that has accumulated debt, some are irrecoverable, some are maybe they're still trying to recover them. Those debts appear in the books. Are they going to be taxed? Or is there any way they can be exempted?
All right. Before now, bad and doubtful debts were exempt from taxes. But now, right, only bad debts will fall under the allowable deductions. Bad debts. You may go into the dictionary to understand the meaning of bad debt. Debts that they can no longer, it's not possible to pay. The business that is owing you has fizzled out of existence. You can no longer pursue anyone to get it. Right? That can be exempted. But you see, doubtful debts. The Lord said, no. It's doubtful doesn't mean we can no longer at a point ascertain the payment status of that person. That one will still fall under your taxable income or your turnover. So there's a little separation. Let's not go into that mathematics.
Supposing a debt that has lasted for maybe 3 years and it has not been able to recover it, even though the debtor is still in existence, but it has not been able to recover.
The issue about your question is very practical. The issue about this is, what if the law now says, fine, because you're not able to recover in 3 years, therefore, let me allow it as a deduction, and it allows it as a deduction, and you now wake up, say, no, I know how to catch this man now. You go and file a suit in court, small claims court, if it's a small claims, and you follow up, and they give you the 10 million or 9 million, you've cheated the law. Yes. So the law is still seeing it as a doubtful debt, not a bad debt.
Yet another question,
please. No problem. Let me give you that honor as a mother.
Please.
Yes.
A firm that has a good number of staff.
Yes, madam.
That the firm does tax deduction and pays in. Is it possible to secure TIN for that whole staff?
Yes. If what I encourage organizations to do, and I've done it for some organizations, if you have organizations that have many people, you don't have to be coming one after the other. You'll be disrupting your business by coming to our office, and there's a lot of queue. What we do is we give you an Excel sheet, you populate it, send it back to us. And we just take our time, upload it, the thing we generate, and we impute it in that Excel sheet and send it back to you. Everybody gets their thing.
Can I get the Excel sheet from here?
Yes.
You already said that they are going to send one, so...
yes, I will send.
See, where is she? I'm blessed. Collect her number.
Collect her number, yes.
Okay, sir. I want to ask a question based on income tax on rent.
Okay.
You know, these new tax laws now, to me, it's been drawn from the Western world. And over there, they have systems in place. So now, the income tax on rent is supposed to be paid by the landlords, owner of the building, right? Yeah, it's supposed to pay. But if you discover now, Enugu as a case study now, Enugu, immediately the government, or let me say the government, say the landlords are meant to pay tax. The house rent in Enugu skyrocketed. I don't know that anybody here noticed it. So that it means that the tenants are the ones paying the tax. All right. To me, I'm still
all right.
yet to conclude.
Hit the nail on the head. What's the question?
Okay, my question now is this now. Is there a measure by the government to regulate rent payment? Because you said something. This income tax on rent that is being paid based on location. You mentioned one that they pay like 95,000 naira. You mentioned
that one is land discharge.
Okay, land discharge. Sorry, my bad. Sorry. So, is there a measure to curtail this hike in tax rent in Enugu State? That's my question.
All right. If you know the economic principle of free enterprise, right, that operates in a capitalist society, you will know that it's difficult for government to really control how people earn income from their investment.
In fact, there is no law that empowers the government to do
yes. That. However, there is a rent review or rent control law before the State House of Assembly that wants to control the unscrupulous conduct of agents and all the other fees they add everywhere, even the landlords add. So, coming to the issue of that the commencement or the rejuvenation of income tax on rent was the reason why rent spiked in Enugu, may not be the total picture of the reality. This thing started this year, right? But I can tell you for free that for the past 3 years, there are places that you will go. The rent for 3-bedroom flats has already exceeded 1 million. I'm correct, right? So you cannot totally say that it was because of this. And you also factor in the fact that the economic indices changed from the advent of the president from 2023, mid-2020. Everything changed. The building materials skyrocketed, everything. So everybody's we are very opportunistic as a tribe down here. We take advantage of all those situations and blame everybody, everything for it. Yes, I will not totally deny the fact that it may have contributed, but to base the hike on rent squarely on the taxes collected on property will be oversimplification of the issue.
But I want to keep in something based on this particular issue now. For example, now, as I go to Aba, for example, Anambra, the rent.
No, bro, see, you are making a case. You're not asking a question.
No problem. The rents in Onitsha, for instance, have always been lower than the rents in Enugu. It has always been. Anywhere in the southeast, it has always been that way. Sincerely.
It is not
I'm
in
not
his
the
power
one to control the landlords.
Enugu is Enugu.
Yes. But what the government can do, what we've suggested to the government, is that we have to start building properties for mass housing. What we have in Enugu majorly are proper individualistic properties. Everybody wants to live in their own mansion. Everybody wants to live in their own bungalow. My friends in Copen that are developing properties, all their properties are made for family and individuals. Yes. If we start building houses like the developed worlds, where you have projects, right? You build skyscrapers.
But it's government that can create that enabling environment.
I say we have advised the government.
Okay.
Right? And government is looking into it. If government starts, private individuals can also start. A building can contain 500 people. And you see
and has facilities.
Yes, and you see everywhere will be decongested automatically. Some of these landlords will start begging people to come and even take my house for 500 that was 1.5 million.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the session. I have a comment and a question, please.
All right.
So my comments, it will also be effective if it will be considered that this reform be made available in simple forms in the languages available in Enugu State, so that people would be able to, and you also use CSOs to disseminate it in communities and marketplaces, so people don't face the penalty of not complying.
That's a beautiful remark. And one of our partners have done it already, the UNN Task Club. We co-sponsor some of their programs and projects. They came to us with the initiative of putting some of the aspects of the new tax laws in our local languages. Pull up one from my bag. Okay. So we have things in Yoruba, Igbo. I think this one is in Igbo. So something like this. So you can reach out to them, can leave a number with you, can reach out to them and get a copy. Or you can even sponsor the production of more copies to be shared among people.
Okay, thank you. Now my question about withholding tax. I want to confirm that you said that come January 2026, 2% will be...
It's operational already.
Okay, it is already.
Yes,
is
it's
it
been
2%
since
on
September
contracts
2024.
or 5%? And then you just said that it's based on if it's up to 2 million naira and above. 2%. Monthly?
Yes.
Please
So
explain that.
2% for contracts or supplies, right? Also 2% for contract for construction of roads. But other contracts, like construction of other forms of contracts, will fall under 5%. And if you contract someone for technical, professional, consultancy services, right? If the person is an individual, 5%. If it's a company, 10%. FIRS, Nigerian Revenue Service, collects that one. So there's a table for it. It's just that there are too many things to show here. I just limited my slides to 20. You cannot finish discussing the tax reforms in Nigeria in one day. I've tried to touch different aspects so that we have a proper perspective on it. Thank you.
Good morning. Good afternoon. I have 3 or 4 questions. Please bear with me. I drove from Albany, so I had to.
Yeah.
So I heard of the meeting
Welcome.
on Sunday, so
You are sure these questions have not been answered?
I'm quite sure they are not answered. So I have a shop in Albany. I was able to break 4, and to continue my business, I was taxed heavily that is this year. So my question first is, for that whole shop, will I be paying one tax? Because the people around that end, they always say it's per shop. What they told me was, one shop, you pay 36,000. The next shop, you pay 36,000. So I own a laundry there. All the 4 shops are for the laundry business. So that's the first question. And secondly, I noticed, I think I will have to, on the Excel, most people around there, I have to discuss with my neighbors that this tin stuff is very serious. I was trying to educate them about it. The tin, the tax and identification number and the rest is very important. So I was trying to educate them on it. But I think most of them around there won't be able to get this tin and the rest. So I'm thinking if they can give me an Excel sheet too, so I can give to these people, they fill in their details.
Collect the number. Thank you for that, for helping out in getting people registered. That shows you're doing your civic responsibility. So on the question you asked, my brother, you're paying for all the shops, so
per one?
Yes. You are paying per one. That is a presumptive tax. Because if we come or presumptive revenue, if we come and assess you properly, you may even end up paying more, right? You're paying for each. We've had this same scenario in Obuete. There are many people who have up to 7 shops, 10 shops. Imagine as a presumptive tax, we tell a rich man whose imports in a year is a turnover of 1 trillion. People like that in Enugu. Excuse me. Or 500 billion. Right? To just pay 36,000 and cover the 10 shops. Plus all the warehouses he has in the streets. No, now.
He pays rent per shop.
Yes, he pays rent per shop. He pays for all the workers that stay there. Right? He earns income from each of those shops. Because otherwise, he would have closed them down or rented them out. So we rationalized all this at the initial time of starting e-ticket, and the most practicable approach was to tax per shop. In fact, if you stay in one shop, the nuance comes when you and someone shares a shop. Then the rule slightly changes to each of, because you earn your income. If you say one person pay, whose account, whose ESBN is it going through? So you pay per head because you earn different income.
So now, using a business account, for example, a business account.
Yes.
I have, let's imagine in that same business account, I have a contract that is paying me like 1.9 million, just like how they asked earlier on. And now I own a laundry store. The limit for the whole business is, you said 10 million, they increase the tax level, if I'm not wrong. So now those money that came in as like a contract that came in like 1.9 million a month, will it be considered as the general tax that is above that of the 10 million?
I'm not sure we mentioned 10 million here, so I'm trying to place where the 10 million came from.
Okay, 100 million.
Is it a limited liability company?
No.
No, just a business, and it will be taxed like you as a person.
Okay, now, the tax, is it from generally the business tax or the personal tax? Is it from a gross profit or the net profit?
Well, taxes are computed from the gross. It's in that gross that you remove the reliefs, remove the allowable deductions, right? Remove everything that is allowed under the law. So that thing you are calling net is part of what you arrive at the end of the day. So when you remove everything, you now come and get what you call your taxable income. You get? It's from that taxable income that you start applying the tax bands. 15%, 18%, 22%, and then 25%.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Please, honestly, I have so many questions, but due to time, I will kind of limit it. Last week, I was coming back to my house, and at the gate, I noticed that they pasted these lands of office. There's these posts that they brought to but almost all the streets, they were giving it at this ESBS. So the charge was is around 266,000 plus. So I really want to know, why is it that even old buildings, we are charged the same thing as new building? Okay, let me give an example. You sold a property to someone, do you understand? And the person brought down the old building and erected a new structure. Why did they give the same amount they gave to old structure and they gave the same amount to new structure? That is one. Secondly, when you get to their premium layouts, some people bought property about 7 million. And now, recently, they went and brought down those buildings and started taxing them to pay about 45 million. I want to know reason behind that kind of tax. Or is there any compensation for those people that they bought this property?
Okay, let me start from your second question. I'm not sure what really transpired that led to the bringing down of buildings. The Enugu State Capital Territory Development Authority may have more answers to that, and the NGs may have more answers to that. So let me not delve into something I do not know. But what may have likely happened is that they may not have the appropriate government permits. They may not even, because that place, that premier layout, is one of the properties developed by Enugu State Housing Development Corporation. So if you do not have the proper approvals, the C of O, the building approvals from Capital Territory, you may just be erecting an illegal structure. But back to your first question, on the demand notices you saw of 266,000 something, that's land use charge. And land use charge for this area that we do now, they go up, is 266,000 something. It does not matter whether that property is residential.
I mean old and new.
Calm down. There's no difference between old and new. The value of that land that old building is sitting on, and the value of the land where the new building is sitting on is almost the same or the same. Old building, if you can sell that old building to me for 50 million, I'll go and look for money and buy it. Right? So, land use charge does not consider the type of structure there. It considers one. Were you here at the beginning of this session?
I've been here.
Yes. It considers one, the location of the property. Two, the value of the property. Three, the size. And fourth, the use. So, the 266,000 is so everywhere. If you go to a hotel nearby there, you see about 520 something or 30 something thousand. Because the use is different. It's commercial. 266 something you saw was for residential. There's a different rate for industrial, but there are no industrial buildings around here. So,
please, last but not the least,
yes.
because I said I have so many questions to ask about this.
You decided to live in a
tracts.
high-brow area. Perhaps it was your parents that left it for you.
No, it's not even my own.
Okay,
property.
or whoever has that property. The person is sitting on wealth, big wealth. If the person cannot manage that property, he may decide to downsize. And a property lower or okay, afford. People can do it. In fact, if I was privileged to have buildings in Independence layouts and I have kids that I need to send abroad, that property will be worth around 150 million or more. I will sell it, go down to, if it's MN or even Amechi Dodo, go and buy land, build it 30, 40 million, land of 10 million, build. Use the other money and do business and send my kids abroad. So
it's not that easy the way
I know. We have emotional attachment to properties.
It's a very big risk now.
And we emotional attachment to property. That's why some people who have old houses and they feel they cannot maintain it are seeing those land use charge as onerous on them. Whereas the government sees you as a very big person because you're sitting on wealth.
Okay, because the last one I won't ask. I have a lot of questions, but let me not waste too much of your time. I want to ask regarding certificates that are issued in higher institutions. After graduating, for you to get the original certificate, you'll be taxed like 75 to 100,000 to get it. Do they pay like a suit, somewhere like a suit, for you to get your certificate? It takes, yes. Do they, is those kind of money, one, is it necessary or is that one? Two, do they pay tax?
Answer.
Please answer.
He already said that education is tax exempt. People who are running educational business, who sell educational materials, are tax exempt. Secondly, whether it is necessary or not is not your business. It's the business of the people who are running the school. If it vexes you, go and set up your own and then collect 20K instead of 70K.
Well,
it's a government university. Then government does not pay tax to government. You heard him say that.
No, ESUT remit payee. That's the only
for
thing.
Staff now.
For staff only. That's all they
But as for all the gamut of fees you pay them, it's like they are government.
Yes, now it's coming into
and
Enugu State.
Government does not pay tax to government. Yeah. Do you understand the idea? So there's nothing like, do they pay tax for it? There's nothing like that.
ESUT is one of the top 20 performing MDAs.
In Enugu State.
In Enugu State.
Much money. Do you understand? Now, person say, you go. I'm so sorry. I'm just being. I'm so sorry. Okay, so last question. Then I'll ask you the one I have here because some people are online and they are talking to me too.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
First of all, I want to say thank you to the church for bringing this our way. Honestly, ignorance is not a disease, and to be honest, maybe I would have been penalized for whatever. So I want to say thank you to my Daddy Edwin, for allowing this, and thank you, sir, for everything you've shared with us.
He's our daddy.
God bless you, sir. Okay, my question is, what's the difference between personal team and business team? Is there a difference?
Yes.
Okay. So, and again, if I've gotten my personal team and tomorrow I start up a business and I want to get my business team, since you said they are different, can someone convert the personal team to business?
No.
Or you have to register a new?
So once you register your business with a business name and you have your certificate of registration, you take it to us, you bring it to us, we use it and generate things specifically for that business.
Okay, so here, just as the conversation I was having with her, yes, there are people who have lots of tax liabilities for filing and regular taxes they did not pay. Penalties on non-filing or non-tax compliance. By the implementation of this new law, are they set free to start from a new slate?
No.
Or are they still liable to pay the penalties they accumulated from the existing tax law?
Yes.
Hey, wahala.
Laws do not operate retrospectively. So laws are usually forward-looking. If a law wants to operate retrospectively, that law will specifically mention that it has to operate retrospectively. Mm-hmm. So to be fair to everyone, these old tax laws will not fizzle out entirely. Because if there is anything to be reviewed or audited in the years where it was operational, you will not use the new tax laws to check them.
Okay.
We still use the old tax laws. So anything that happened in 2025 and upward to like 6 years, because audit is for 6 years, investigation is beyond 6 years, we still resort back to the old tax laws as they were at the time of those acts, commission or events.
Did you get it? I hope you were following. So the idea is that, Jenny, I was going to say something because I didn't see you. I kept it. Now that I've seen you, now let me go back and say it. When you went to FIROS and they started telling you the stories they told you, and you said there was no activity in the business, there are two things here that he has talked about. There is tax revenue and there is tax penalty. Now, if you are allowed not to pay tax on such certain things, you were not told that you should not do filing. Doing filing as a going concern or a registered business is different from paying tax.
Very correct.
What it means is that if you register, the idea really of the Corporate and Allied Matters Act is that once you register a business with the Corporate Affairs Commission, the business is no longer just your own. The business now belongs both to you and the government.
It belongs to the society.
It belongs to the society. As such, the things going on in that business are no longer exclusively your private secrets. You are therefore required that at the end of every month, you should do a filing with the government. It's usually done on FIRS platform called Tax Pro Max.
And for limited liability
companies. And
or
say that
other businesses that have VAT liabilities.
And say that this is how it happened this month, so we don't have any tax to pay. That's all. That's just what they want to hear. Then you attach your statement of account for that month to the platform as evidence of the story you are telling. If you don't do that filing, by 21st of the next month, you have incurred penalty of 50K. By the next month, if you still didn't do that filing, you have incurred a fine on top an existing fine. I don't have time to break it down for you.
By the time it is a year, the last time I calculated it, it came to around almost 1.9 million. Liability, not tax that you're supposed to pay. This is that you did not file, and they started giving you penalty for not filing. Do you understand what I'm saying? That is at the federal level. Let's say it's a limited liability company, right? So back to now the state. If you are tax allowed, I don't want to use the word exempt, because you just corrected it some time ago. If you are tax allowed, right, you are still required to do your tax filing as at when due. If you don't, there's a penalty. Supposing it went into penalties, you would have seen that this thing I'm telling you now is one of them. So there is such a thing as an organization or a company accruing tax liability. And oftentimes, when I consult for business owners, I tell them this is the only way out. You will approach the tax officers and then negotiate with them. Whatever they tell you the standard is, that is what it is. Sometimes they even give amnesty, right? Depending on who is communicating with who. Sometimes they tell you this is the barest minimum we can go on this your tax liability. It's either you pay this or you are owing. They can even decide to take you to court. As you continue to do business with that business name, right, that tax liability continues to accrue. So what some people do is that they stop. They register a new company and start afresh. Then now begin to follow the tax law. So this one now, except government comes and says, we want to hold you for the one that you have before, right? They are working free. They are now being held on this new one that they registered. Is this making sense? Does it make sense what I just explained? Yes. Yeah. So when you approach them now, they will give you a tin. Now that you say activity don't start, they will give you tin. And now you are now born again. You have confessed, Jesus as your Lord and Savior. So in the eyes of the Enugu State tax law, you are a new creature. All things are passed away. That's what I'm answering now. No, now they are different. Enterprise is sole proprietorship.
Sole proprietorship, partnerships.
Yes. Yes. But just stop operating that business name now. Yes. That's the thing. If you cannot leave it, then you must confront that tax liability and resolve it. Otherwise, you are guilty in the eyes of the law. When FIRS wrote me, they wrote me on 2 of my companies. One that I have not been operating and the one that I am operating. In the one that I have not been operating, I just wrote them and say, guys, this company you are telling me to come and pay tax liability for is not functional. I stopped operating the company since XYZ. I went and printed statements of account. You see, if you run a corporate account, company they function again, but you are still using that account to be moving money up and down. You go pay. So I printed it and I sent it to them that this company is no longer functional. Why would you now tell me I should pay tax for years that the business did not do any business? Is this making sense? Then, yes. No, if you didn't have a corporate account in the name of that business, then in that regard, you are not liable. Do you understand what I'm saying? Maybe you are using your name, your own personal account to be moving business money. That is why they now have a law that you should not do business with people who don't have tin going forward. Are you seeing that? See, they're trying to close that door. Don't do business with people who don't have tin. So even if somebody decides that he didn't use a corporate account to receive money from business transactions, he used his personal account. In the new law, the law they see him. Do you understand where I'm going with this? The law they see him saying now business money now enter this personal account, which means it is taxable to the extent of that business transaction. Does it make sense? So I think we have to stop here. I beg. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So please go online, go and watch again. The video is there, right? See, some of you are fretting. I don't know why. You should, Some of you look more afraid now that people wouldn't even come here at all. Those ones are basking in the bliss of ignorance. But we came here to empower you with knowledge. That we do better when we know better. So you don't need to fret. First of all, TIN is free. Secondly, a brethren that works with the government is in your church here. When I registered my cooperative, right, cooperative society, I just called Sister Ada. She's one of your staff, worships here. And she said, just send me the, Ada, yes, Miss Ada, she said, just send me the certificate. I sent her the certificate by WhatsApp. The next day, she sent me my TIN certificate. I didn't go there. I didn't even move it, and I got it. So with that thing now, I can approach whether it's OPay or MoneyPoint or any of these banks and say, please open me a bank account in the name of this cooperative. Then now start following the rules of engagement as far as taxation is concerned. It's not as complicated as you are making it look. Calm down. No, it's not negotiable. It's in the law. Okay, you mean the penalty? Yeah, it's the tax people that have the capacity to respond to that. Eh? No, it is not in his office. You know, there are departments. You know that. There are departments. So it is when you approach their office and say, I have tax liability, see where it has come to. Just like the one he told you about, that if you work for a company and you have left, or you are still working with them, but you cannot access evidence of tax payment. Instead of going to make trouble with the management of the company, just open up to the tax people. Say, see, guys, I cannot get my company to produce that thing. How can you produce it for me on a personal basis? They discuss it there, and you pay the money, you get it. Now, there the matter day now. Yes. now you don't go talk your secrets. So you see, that's why when Pastor was saying, all of us want a new Nigeria, everybody say yes. But I'll tell you the truth. Many of us are not ready for a new Nigeria. If this Nigeria will change today, and everybody has to abide by the law, some of you will want to run away to Benin Republic or something. You can't cope. So it's better to start now to allow yourself to operate as a law-abiding citizen. So that this prayer we are praying that God give us a good leader, make Nigeria change. Nigeria does not change, and then you now become at disadvantage because Nigeria changed. Are you following what I'm saying? I'm telling you, if our universities insist on merit, if there is no special center to write exam, if there is no mago to use to get stuff, a lot of people here, hey, life will just turn upside down for them. Because that's the only way they've lived. They don't know another way to do it. Are you following what I'm saying? Issue. Some parents, their children will not graduate they will not promote in the school for the next 3 years. Because they've only been promoting their children because they pay school fees, not because the children are passing the exam. If they see the matter is complicated. So my sister, we have to grow to be able to meet up with these requirements. Shebi na you, the praise, may God prosper you. Prosperity comes with its own wahala. When you start entering places where you have to present papers, you have to do this, you have to do that, how you go take do them? So we have to grow to that point where we are able to deal with these problems. So that brings us back to, Pastor Obi has already graciously agreed that we will teach on business structure in empowerment service in church. Don't miss that, because that's where it all starts. Once your business is structureless and systemless, forget it. Don't worry. Miss Oga Arinze will be waiting for you in his office. You meet him there. So let's take a vote of thanks. Mr. Chinedu Eduzo. Sir, I start you? Please, sir. Help us with a vote of thanks. Thank you so much.
Praise the Lord. I think, first of all, we thank the Lord for making this occasion possible. We have learned a whole range of things, and for that we are glad. We are thankful to the Almighty. We also want to thank Pastor Ed, who graciously arranged this. It's kind and thoughtful of him. Before now, there were a lot of things I didn't know. And I am humbled by the fact that having come here, I learned a few things. I want to thank Pastor B, Pastor Francis. The input into the whole thing made it quite lively. And I want to thank my brother here for the time he has spent in teaching us, in empowering us. The Lord bless you, my brother, in the matchless name of Jesus.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for him. Let us pray. Father, we thank you. We thank you for this opportunity that you've given us. Thank you for our daddy in the house and the leadership. Thank you for our facilitator. We ask that you bless him. We ask that you replenish him over and again, every virtue that has left him. The scripture says that to him that is watered, that watereth, he shall be watered. We pray, Lord, that you water him. This is stuff that people will pay him a lot of money to do, but he has done it, Lord, to your people, in your name for free. Father, we pray that doors of opportunities will be open to him, locally and internationally, in the name of Jesus. For this thing that he has done, Lord, let special miracles locate him. Miracles that will make him dance into 2026, in the name of Jesus Christ. And for us who are here, we pray for grace, for the implementation, that we be not hearers only, instead of doers as well, and thereby deceiving ourselves. We receive grace that will supply help, assistance, support in our various endeavors as business persons, as career persons, in the name of Jesus Christ. We want to be law-abiding. Help us, that we may have a voice, walking in righteousness in the midst of a crooked generation. We vow that all the glory will be yours and yours alone. In Jesus' precious name we pray. The grace, the love of God, the sweet fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore. Amen. Surely, God's goodness and mercies are with us all the days of our lives. We dwell in the house of the Lord now and forever. Amen. Cheer up, brethren.